girl. Here's what they say.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's amore. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll sing Vita Bella. Hearts will play tippy-tippy-tay, tippy-tippy-tay, like a guitarandella. When the stars make you drool, just like a pastifazool, that's amore. When you dance down the street with a cloud at your feet, you're in love. When you walk in a dream, but you know you're not dreaming, signore. Scusa me, but you see, back in old Napoli, that's amore.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
That's amore.
When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's amore.
That's amore.
Bells will ring,
Ting-a-ling-a-ling,
ting-a-ling-a-ling,
and you'll sing Vita Bella.
Vita Bella, Vita Bella. Hearts will play,
Tippy-tippy-tay, tippy-tippy-tay, like a gay tarantella.
Lucky fella. When the stars make you drool, just like pasta fazool, that's amore.
That's amore.
When you dance down the street with the cloud at your feet, you're in love. When you walk in a dream, but you know you're not dreaming, signore. Scusa me, but you see, back in old Napoli, that's amore.
Amore.
That's amore.
Whoa. Big shout out to JDMTL. This song is dedicated to Roommate. Wow, what a classy intro here. I'm joined by Tim G, and we'll have Michaela de Chatillon join us in just a couple of minutes, guys.
What a wonderful song. We should play that one more time.
We're gonna get a strike if I play this.
Okay, then let's not play it one more time. What a wonderful song. I haven't heard that in years. That's one of these type of songs that Sean is in the chat. This is one of these songs when you're driving around Italy that you should be playing, you know?
Yes.
All right, when you're going around the corners of the Amalfi Coast, like gonna go off the edge of the cliff.
In
the
convertible.
In the convertible, right? Yes,
oh,
exactly. With your scarf like hanging and like dragging around, and then you're with your like significant other, and her wind's in the hair and everything else, and this is just a
through the winding streets, right? Going up the hill.
This is just a wonderful song. Or better yet, I mean, you don't have to go to the Amalfi Coast. You can just do the Pacific Highway in California. Timmy, you gotta do the Pacific Highway. The
Pacific Highway and the surrounding areas.
It
looks very Italian. It's Italian inspired.
You go to Santa Barbara to Carmel by the Sea, and then you spend a few days in Carmel by the Sea at a bed and breakfast downtown, and then you drive all the way up to San Francisco, and you kind of hang out there, but you go to the vineyards first. There's some nice vineyards, believe it or not, between Carmel by the Sea and San Francisco. So it's just California is just wonderful.
Speaking of class, Tim G. Speaking of class, we've got Kleiner Hun joining us.
Kleiner Hun, how are you, my friend?
Buonasera, amici. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Kleiner. Kleiner wanted to join us, especially because to have an opportunity to chat with Michaela de Chatillon. While we're waiting for her, I'm gonna open a bottle of wine.
The bottle of wine. I think she's. I actually think we're rebel streaming, or I mean, you're always at 5 o'clock, but
What are we rebel streaming?
yeah,
She's rebel streaming Tim
O'Sheen,
Massa.
O'Sheen, O'Sheen is on right now. I think, isn't he?
Oh, she no.
No, he finished the stream.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. Okay, cool.
they had the
All right.
watch fashion
Me
police
bad. Me
today.
bad. I apologize.
Okay, so cool, so cool.
So
There's no.
Magic City,
since
how are you, sir?
since this is an evening for class, gentlemen, I figured I'll bring out a drink,
Oh, please. Let's see
and
what
you
you
will
got.
never guess. So,
Oh, it's some kind of a beer.
can you guess what this is?
It's some kind of a beer. Looks really good. Gold, like really nice and golden.
It sort of looks like a Heineken.
Oh, it's a Red Bull.
Red Bull. There you go.
That looked like a really good beer, to be honest.
Well, I'm trying to class things up, because Michaela's coming on. I have to look the part.
You know what? If you just leave it in the shot like that, it looks like a beer or a nice whiskey after you
Hold on, let
drink up the
me.
foam. I was drinking Red Bull yesterday. Nothing wrong with Red Bull.
How's that?
Fantastic. You need Red Bull.
It looks terrific.
Gives you
Hey,
like-
Red Shovel's in the chat too. And
as
don't
long
forget,
as you go for the 0-calorie one. I'm gonna drop the link. Maybe.
Oh,
Red Shovel.
can I shout out the people? Some
Yes,
people,
please. Yeah.
Please.
because we have Sean, Legend,
Yep.
Perry TV Show, My Guy, Red Shovel, Staple, 029, Rockstar, Dave, F451, The Man,
Yeah. I think it's
Dr.
late.
Bob's Nightmare, The Guy,
oh, he's
My
good.
Guy, absolutely. To the gang.
Get the tutors on. Maybe I'll put on mine for today. Here's a smaller watch. I'll actually wear my Black Bay 54.
I'm
Here
gonna
you
tell
go.
you, I really do like Kleiner's
Maybe I'll
Tutor.
put a ding in it.
Did somebody say Tutor?
Tutor, baby.
Just picking out a shy this evening. Just picking out. Hello.
Yeah, Dingo,
Hello.
how are you? Dingo, how are you, man?
Hello.
Yes,
Welcome
very
to the
nice.
show. Tutor
Hello.
gang. Look at that. Boom.
Well, I didn't want to roll up my sleeves because there's a lady coming on. I have to be presentable. So
Exactly. Just be classy. But by the way, what kind of cigars you got there? It's like a nice travel case, right? Is it like a mini humidor?
yeah, it's a travel humidor.
Oh,
It has
it has cedar
a
lining.
pocket.
Right?
It has a pocket for the cutter, a pocket for the lighter.
Wow.
You can put some distilled water in here.
I
and
think you'd
then-
be better off just putting a couple of those Bovita packs, no?
Absolutely.
By the
And
way, uh-huh.
yeah, but it would have made the shot look like crap. I'm just trying to make them look nice.
Of course.
Oliva M, Padrone. What am I saying?
Drone.
Ricky Patel and Southern Draw.
And don't forget Carolyn Martin.
Oh yeah, shout out to
And
Carolyn
another Padromo.
Martin. She says, "Beautiful watch." That's right. It is a beautiful watch. I don't think I need to do anything with this. This is
Carolyn Martin, what a
kind of
lady.
keeper. Yeah.
And last and least, Red Shovel. Did we mention Red?
Whoa, Red Shovel just gifted
Is that-
the
Yeah,
live
absolutely.
Is he
memberships.
like on a cruise or something? Is that
Cheers.
what's going on?
He's on vacation.
I know, but is he on a cruise or something on vacation, or is he just like hanging out?
Is that what he was saying? No, I don't think it's a cruise.
Okay, it's not a cruise. Okay,
Hey, shout out to Red Shovel. He just gifted free memberships to Malthred, Marine Layer, Juvine 66, Brett D, and Dioptree 75. Guys, if you got a free membership from Red Shovel, make sure to shout him out in the chat. Say thank you to him for continuing to support the show, doing these incredible unboxings for us, and just generally having fun. By the way, Red, I got a massive $200 PayPal donation from Elton. He won. He was the gentleman who won like 7 grand on the live stream a couple of days ago at the casino. And with that $200, I'm gonna fire up the fund to go to Northern Ireland and Ireland and shoot the film. I'm gonna put Elton obviously into the front credits, guys. If you want to support Ireland, the movie. See, O'Sheen did his movie. Now I will go to Ireland and do the Timmy version. It's like a comedy version. O'Sheen's was very serious. Mine is just gonna be very funny and chillax. We'll have some fun.
So is that what this evening is about? A fundraiser for the Ireland trip?
No. Today well, it's a fundraiser every single day on the streams. So there's not a day that I'm not
That's fine.
fundraising. I'm always doing something because it's hard. It's like everything is like costs money. You know, plane tickets and hotels. You would think those are free, but you have to pay like a lot of money. What the hell?
They're not free? Well, I don't know. I don't travel, do I?
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a racket, I'll tell you. Costs $1,000 to fly to Northern Ireland. Where did they come up with these kind of prices?
Yeah, also the tax and probably too and all that. I can see. Unfortunately I can see it, and that's regular. That's regular chump class. That's not even business class.
Jump class.
Yeah, listen, I'm not a fancy guy. I'm still. Look, I understand if I was older and I had more money, like if I had savings and stuff, and I had a couple of million sitting in the bank, I would travel first class or business, right? But right
No,
now,
I hate to say this. You're too young.
I still, yeah, exactly. I'm too young. I'm too young. I wouldn't know what to do with
You're
it. It
too
would be bad for
fucking
me.
young. Okay, that's all I got to tell you on that one. To travel business class all the time. My general rule is
It's
over
expensive.
over 5 hours. I will go. I will easily go business, but I tend to go business class or first class now anyway. I'm just too old. And usually I'd rather drive. If I can drive 16 hours in the United States in a day,
Yeah.
I'd rather drive because it takes a day no matter what now to fly anywhere.
Thank you. If I can't drive there, I don't want to go.
So I'd rather just drive. Okay. So when I drive from Northeast to Tennessee to go to my farm,
Yeah.
I drive now. I don't fly.
I understand. Well, I look at these things like this is part kind of travel, seeing the world, but also I'm doing these things as an entertainment. We're making a movie, making a film. I'm gonna share it with everybody, so yeah, I can bring myself to kind of. It's just it's really tiring. You're going to London, going to all these
No,
places. It's
absolutely.
work.
Yeah, you can do
Going
it.
to San Francisco.
You can do that. When I was a little younger than you, they had me going. It was spoken wheel. They had me every 3 days going to some city to take a look at some projects, business, or piece of real estate.
Yeah.
And basically, I lived in my suitcase in an airplane. But that was before 9/11, when everything was easy. You could just jump on a plane.
Right.
And now everything is difficult. Everything's difficult.
Everything has changed.
Even getting to the airport now is difficult.
Yeah, and Uber has gone through the roof. I'm not even
In New
using
York
Uber
City,
anymore.
Uber's a total
It's
ripoff.
done.
It's
done.
done. And you know what's interesting too? Uber Eats and all those things
It's
cost
done.
as much as the meal. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
It's cheaper to get a local taxi.
Uber and Lyft. I do it a lot in Miami, and I do it a lot in New York, and it's really, really expensive. It's gotten to be really expensive.
Stevie CI says, Tim, boy up the Shankill. It's a place, not a root thing. That would be something. I'm not sure what that is. Carolyn Martin, $10 super chat. Tim, stop the economy middle seat mentality. You're the first class guy. Think that way. Yeah, no.
There you go.
I totally agree. Yeah, no. I like kind of traveling, and but all when I have something to do, really, like I don't like traveling without a purpose. I really love going for some kind of a purpose. It's like London or Geneva to cover an event, right? That's always I find that to be easy.
And not,
But
but not
going
only that, but you're going to like the most expensive cities.
but going to
Oh
museums,
shit!
uh,
Elton's in the chat.
Huh?
Elton's in the chat.
I mean those are just, in my opinion, London and Geneva are just as expensive as New York City.
yeah, exactly. But
It is what it is.
it's first you have to spend 2,000 to get there. Like New York City, I could just take a $3 train ride, and I don't have to spend $1,000, right?
I totally get it.
So if I'm gonna spend that kind of money, I have to make it worthwhile.
So one month, for 1 month back in like last November, I ordered out almost every day just to see what was going on.
Hmm.
I tried Grubhub, I tried Uber Eats, and I tried DoorDash. I
Um,
tried them all. Okay.
hey, by the way, Tim G, here we
Oh, there
go.
you
Michaela, welcome to the show. What are you
Thank
drinking over
you.
there?
I'm drinking Verlängerte Schwarze. Do you know what that means? Kleiner Hund. Verlängerte Schwarze.
Ooh,
Just black. Black espresso, basically.
black espresso in
Yeah,
its Tiffany and Co cup.
in my Tiffany cup. Wedding gift.
Oh, is that like a ceramic cup?
Yeah. I also have a little teapot, but it doesn't go with the cup.
Oh, it's really
Yeah,
sweet.
it's so cute. I love it so much. I never
That's
knew
right.
I would be such a Tiffany fan until I got it. And I was like, oh, I quite like this. This is nice.
And
But
anything Tiffany is nice.
Yeah. And
by the way,
it's really nice to see a good quality American brand, that's classy and holds weight. That's nice to see.
yeah, right. Cartier, they're up there with Cartier. Cartier might have a little bit of a step up in the watch department, but Tiffany is really known for their collabs, their Tiffany stamped watches. They're
Hmm.
extremely desirable. So, depending how Louis Vuitton goes with it, they could turn Tiffany into a super. Wait, Louis
Well, I
Vuitton
think
owns it, right?
no, Louis Vuitton owns it. Basically, they could
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Louis Vuitton. That's their marquee. That's one of their marquee brands,
Hmm.
hands down. Hands
They
down.
can make it into something super serious.
Yep.
By the way,
I heard about your Red Bull. I know what you're drinking.
I think a lot of people
I
don't
call
know
this
Michaela.
I call this the Kevin Samuels.
It looks nice in the glass. I always like nice glasses for everyday things.
But people don't know that you own a coffee shop. That's it's like is it like a family-owned business that you have? How did you?
It's complicated. I'll tell you more
Oh
about it
yeah.
later, Tim. I'll chat
Okay.
with you. Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's a Facebook relationship status.
No, it's okay. It isn't a coffee shop
Uh-huh.
specifically. It's a themed traditional Viennese cafe house, which is very different. But coffee exists there. It's just not American or Italian coffee. So, but yeah, I'd rather just like talk about that after with you.
And I
'Cause-
Okay.
definitely agree with Carolyn Martin. Tiffany surpasses Cartier and Gems. I definitely agree.
Yes.
Interesting. I gotta look into that.
L-
If Carolyn
luxury
says it, I'm
items.
inclined to believe it.
I know. I definitely agree with that.
Very nice.
Well, good evening. I
Oh,
just
by the
wanted to
way, we
say
have
good evening.
Kleiner Hund joining us today, Michaela and Tim G.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good times. What do we have in front of you here?
Kleiner Hund prepared.
Well, I just tried to make things
selection.
visually interesting.
Yeah.
So these are my
cigars.
props.
Well, interesting it is.
By the way, Michaela, what do you think of guys that smoke cigars?
That is a good question.
Yeah, because when Oshin was at the PT Womo, he met
Mhm.
some cool ladies there, and there were some really cool ladies that were smoking cigars as well. But
Mhm.
what's your opinion on cigars?
My opinion is I think they are, as long as people are keeping it classy, I think it's just fine. And to me, not to be bitter to anybody who has this kind of lifestyle, but I don't like cigarettes. I don't want to be around them. I just don't like the smell. Some of my friends even, dabble in that. I don't judge, but it's not, to me, it's a no. Cigars are better. They're more elevated. But personally, like, I just am prone to just any kind of strong scents and fumes and stuff. I just get kind of headachy and stuff. So it really wouldn't suit me to probably be with a man that's smoking often. But yeah, that's just me personally. I think in general, it's a way more classy way to get your, because it's not just about like using that as like an intoxication method for your mind. It's the ritual of it. It's the choosing something that's well crafted and has some history or culture, and relaxing for a moment and slowing down and pausing, and all of that is the beautiful part of life. So I think it can be very cool. For me though, I know that I've heard men say this often, that they like when a woman smokes a cigar, it's sexy. For me it's just a no, but I'm more uptight. It's just how I am. I'm not judging though. It's just, for me, I would say no.
Of course.
Unless you're just trying to like, tease some guy that you like, and you're trying to like get him like, ooh, look at her. Besides in that moment, I think as a habitual thing, no, women shouldn't. But call
That's
me
why you usually go
old-fashioned.
smoke with the boys.
Yeah, it's kind of the guy's thing. And I think the sexiness of it from when a woman's smoking a cigar is the fact that it's a man's hobby, So it's kind of like that. But no hate to it.
When I was in Napa, we went to a cigar shop, and all of the staff there was females, and they were all enjoying cigars while
Yeah.
with other, with the guys, with other women there. So women are getting into cigars just like men. And I think, listen, it's okay as long as it's in moderation. If you're not abusing it, right?
Yeah.
Like what Kleiner Hund is doing. I don't think it's over the top, right? He's
No. No.
choosing the best ones.
I live by
He's
myself. I can do whatever I want. I answer to no one but God.
There we
That
go.
was intense. Jeez,
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
hurt
that
you?
was intense. Oh my god,
I can
that
do
was
whatever I
real.
want. Don't ever tell me what to do. Of
Hey.
course, you're a man. Do what you want. Live your life the way you want.
Mm.
And
I'm
if you were
sorry. I
to
was
find,
trying to be. Sorry,
go
I
ahead.
interrupted you.
No, go
Well, I
ahead.
was trying to be proper with, my sleeves buttoned and everything. It's too doggone hot. So I'm sorry. The sleeves
It
are getting
is.
rolled up.
Oh, it's fine.
Is it hot in Washington State right now?
Yeah, it is. It's like 90 or something today. 90
Oh wow,
Fahrenheit.
look at that. Okay,
Yeah, it's hot. Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
hot this whole week, but I like it. I love heat and sun. That's why when Eric and I move one day, we're hoping to move to a beautiful country that's hot, sunny, quiet. Yeah.
okay.
So actually, let's take us there. What is, because Michaela, you were on the Whatever podcast recently. I think a
Hmm.
lot of people in the watch community, kind of the ones at least that follow me on Instagram, they got the link, they got a chance to see a little bit. But just for those who don't know, Whatever podcast is like a relationship podcast where they get a lot of women on, and they talk about relationships. Uh, because a lot of people right now are actually struggling to find like relationship, because they don't even know what it's even about. But and you were there, you were kind of one of the few people there who was in the active relationship. And you want to tell us about the experience and any takeaways? Did you change, did your opinion on relationship change? Because I've got some questions here, and we'll talk about it a little bit, because I think uh, just like we have relationships with people, we also have the same relationships with watches. Very similar, but different.
Yeah, sure. I can just kind of briefly give you an
Yeah.
overview of what happened. So, or how it was. Yeah, so no, my views on relationships and stuff weren't swayed in any way, one
Hmm.
way or another. I feel very confident in my views on relationships because I would just say, obviously I've not been married all that long. It's 4 years, but I've been in a relationship about 6. And anyway, I'm relatively young. Yeah, I got that. But there are a lot of people who have not been married, or they've been married and divorced over and over, which is very heartbreaking. It's a lot of heartbreak. It's sad. It's not something that's funny to make fun of people for going through hard times. But a lot of times when people have some pain from that, they may or may not be aware that they're doing it, but try to they're kind of expressing their bitterness and their pain to others, and in a way they're almost like swaying people away from a healthy relationship and how that would actually look like, and finding happiness in that way, because they're a little bit bitter. It's too bad, and I do empathize, but at the same time, a lot of people who are not in relationships give really bad advice to people who want to be in relationships, and it's just the reality. I saw a lot of that happening, including an older woman that was on the show. She was an interesting character, but she was very negative about any man that's older by any means being in a relationship with a young woman. And even if it's like a man that's 30 and the woman's in her early 20s, she's just like that small of an age gap. She's just so bitter, and over again, just expressing how it's so manipulative to the woman and it's so dangerous. And I would just like to point out that any relationship people have been in, whether it's people of the same exact age or age gaps, people have been hurt and mistreated rather, regardless of age differences. So, I just think it comes out a lot in people's pain. They just give terrible advice. So I wanted to come on there and try to give some good advice. And I did get to have a few moments to chat, but I have to say, there were a few yappers on that panel. I'm not gonna lie. Everything turned into a monologue. And I was like, oh my gosh. Interrupting everything anyone's saying. Like, can I say something? It's like, you're going to anyway. You might as well. Like, just go ahead. And it wasn't about me even wanting to talk more, but there's a lot of people there that were more shy, and they needed and it's up to you to be confident and speak up when you're in a panel of like 10 people or however big it was. It can be a little bit intimidating. It's up to you, but at the same time, you're balancing trying not to talk over people, trying not to be rude and disrespectful. But I would have liked to hear a little more from the more quiet girls that were on the panel, but it's just one of those things. But yeah.
So
Which brings me to my first question, if I may, because I was going to wear a plaid shirt so I could ask all the hard-hitting questions, but turns out that didn't work out.
That's very
Let's see
funny
that
and
sleeve one more
specific.
time.
The plaid. It's required to ask big, hard-hitting questions.
So, are you doing back-to-back live streams just so you can get some repetitions into doing like sitting down for 6 hours talking to people?
No, believe
Is
it or
this
not.
training?
Yeah, training. Yeah, believe it or not, I was pretty ready for that for the most part, because just in general over the last year, I think it's been a year, maybe a little longer, doing live streams with a much bigger channel than mine, Oshin's channel. That at first was a little, I wouldn't say I was nervous, but I was definitely intimidated because you just don't know what to expect when you're live. I'd never done live shows or anything. You don't know, you're not really ready for how easy it is to say something that you don't want to remain on the internet that you cannot edit out. Let's just say that. But I did get practice in that way. This back-to-back stream today is just because I just so happened to be reached out to by the world famous Tim Wright, asking me, and he wanted to find a time that worked for me. He knows I'm pretty busy every single day besides Mondays, so it just so happened to work out that way. But yeah, damn, that live stream, it's actually
Michaela Monday.
7, almost 8 hours sitting there. It was long. My goodness.
By the way, Michaela, you shouldn't be afraid to say anything on the live streams. The way I think of it is this. I'm not perfect. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna say stupid things, and the people in the chat, they're gonna correct me, and that's what lets me know. Did I push it over the edge? Did I go too far? Right? What I say, I almost I try not to take responsibility for it, because I'm willing to change. Okay, I'm here to change. I'm here to work with my audience to find the the right answer that I think most people can agree or come to a conclusion with, right? I'm not just here preaching, right? I'm not saying everything I say is correct. Okay, I'm saying things, and I'm having a conversation, and that's what live streams are. They're conversations. If don't let people hold something that you said in the past against you if you no longer believe it now. You know, people. That's what people do. People change, right? So you shouldn't be afraid to, hey, you know, you said to say something which you believe. Maybe somebody correcting you or giving you some kind of a comment in the chat. Maybe it could make you realize or change your opinion. That's how we, I think, grow and become
Yeah.
better. Is when we actually say what we feel, get pushback or get encouragement that maybe we were right. Like, what if you have certain opinions that you
Okay, wait a minute,
were
wait a minute,
100%
wait a
right
minute,
about,
Tim, wait a
but you're
minute.
too afraid
You were
to? Yeah,
saying, you were saying that as an adult, you can receive new data, analyze that data, and then change the opinion you previously had. You're a crazy person. You're supposed to
exactly.
fight with people.
I
Yeah.
You're
know.
supposed to argue. You're supposed to
Indeed.
call them names, and you're supposed to cancel them. How dare
Exactly.
you? How dare you, Tim Wright?
That's good advice for a healthy relationship.
I
Send
don't
people
endorse any
under
of this.
it. No,
Ex-
Tim, you made a great point. And that's something that happens on that stream. One thing that makes the Whatever podcast really popular is just the kind of debates and arguments and the gotcha moments. And, you know, some people, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to say this because this is my opinion. You said I could speak freely, basically. Some people's worldviews are very delusional, and that's just a fact. And they want things in life and the path that they're taking, and they're allowed to take whatever path they want. It's a free country, you know, God bless America, but they're going to lead themselves to a life that they don't want, and they're just not. 1 + 1 is equaling 4 to them. They're just not doing the math. And so it's nice to talk about that stuff and bring it up. But one thing that makes the show so popular is the kind of like harsh smackdowns the host and his, let's just call him his co-host. He's not, but Andrew Wilson might as well because he's there all the time and he's the one that gives the big smackdowns. And he likes to argue. He's good at it. He's a deeply intellectual fellow. Doesn't mean I agree with everything. I don't disagree with everything, whatever. And we were talking about religion at one point, and he made a decent point about something I was talking about. And I didn't quite understand it. Well, I understood it, but I didn't quite think of it from his viewpoint. And then he was getting all mad because that's what he does. He gets worked up and angry and like, hey, no, you're wrong. I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. Like, calm down. And then he's just like telling me, and I was like, okay, well then if that's correct, then that's correct. I can see that. And he didn't even like that I basically yielded to his point. So that's what the podcast does. Like, I was like, oh, okay, you're telling me something, I'm learning something. I get it. I hear you. You know, like I agree, basically. And then it's like, wait, no, you can't, like getting angry that you even agree. It's like
you can't
you're not
agree
allowed
with
to.
me on this
No,
point.
no,
Usually,
because you're such a failure. Like you're so wrong that you're not even allowed to change your opinion to be right. Like you have to be humbled, that kind of thing. And it's just like, and that's the show. It's
yeah.
fine, but they do that to everybody. Even if they have opinions that you even align with the hosts on, they'll still try to like target and get those arguments out of you. But I'm going on that show not to appease the hosts of the show. I'm going on that show not to gain the friendship of the hosts. I'm going on it to hopefully spread a message of, you know, encouraging people to maybe embark on a more elegant lifestyle that I personally believe. And I'm not talking about fancy, expensive stuff, even though all that is great. Watch Community, you all know that. But more just like traditional values in certain ways. And then therefore people will maybe find some interest in what I have to say and go to my channel, and then it'll be great for that. But yeah, that's why I'm going back on, because I have more to say. I didn't get enough time to yap.
So when are you going back on?
I'm going back on this month.
Okay.
This month, yeah, before the end of the month. So it'll be on a Sunday this time. Last time was a weekday.
How many
Very
shows?
soon.
How many shows do they have a month?
They do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Sundays.
Okay.
And those are long shows. They're sitting down that whole time. The whole process is really interesting going on that show. Like they have like pretty legitimate security measures. When you come to the door, they search everyone's bags. they do like metal scanning on everybody, which I'm
In
very,
case someone
very
carries
glad.
a gun or something like that.
Well, I don't know specifically exact stories, but I've heard some crazy things that a lot of girls hate the host of that show. They hate it. They hate the show. They hate the premise. They pretend that they want to be on the show, or they are so interesting and obnoxious figures on social media that they get reached out to by the show. Like, hey, come on the podcast. They look at it and they hate it, and then they go on there to sabotage it. And
Interesting.
some people get past the
Hey,
security
it's like
aspect.
this show. It's like this show, for Christ's sakes.
Yes,
Do they,
it
Does that
happened here
happen?
as well.
it's
What?
happened.
Can't make this
It's
stuff
happened
up.
here. They
What?
We're gonna do virtual pat downs now.
or they just fake.
So true.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Just like AI scanners go to
Is
people's homes.
it in LA or is it someplace else?
Santa Barbara, California.
Santa Barbara. Okay, so that's the reason why you went to Santa Barbara.
Exactly.
How does it like work for you? Do you stay overnight when you go for the podcast, or it's the same day? You fly in, fly out.
So last time I did a whole trip of it, and that's why I took my sister and everything. We did a whole fun trip. I needed vacation anyway, so we just made it a whole like long weekend thing. This time I'm gonna be in and out really quick. So I'll be flying in, doing the show that evening, and I'll probably fly out early the next morning because the show last time ended at like 1 a.m. So I highly doubt there's gonna be, from what I saw, no potentially late flights that will take me where I need to go. So I would probably just leave early in the morning.
I just have a few super chats here to read. We'll keep going. Carolyn Martin, thank you so much for $10 super chat. Says, if Michaela thinks she's uptight, I'm certainly out of luck. Lord with the passport, thank you so much for 10 euros. My own mama says I'm thugged out.
So
you,
real.
Lord.
So real.
Ray, 10 euros super chat. Michaela, thank you. We are honored to have you on here. Teach us a troglodyte some style, please. You are a TWWA talking watches, talking walking work of art when you on the TED Talk. Thank you, Tammy. Hey,
Thank you, Ray.
let me ask you. Let me show you some pictures
Very
here, Michaela. I want to get your opinion. Oh, by the way, guys, subscribe to Michaela on YouTube. I'll drop her link in the chat. Give her a follow. She recently put out like a shorter videos of the key moments where she was her moments on the whatever podcast. Let me show you something here. Check this out. What do you think of this? Ray is an absolute freaking legend. Him and his buddies, they basically restarted a business of making these traditional sailor, they're like Irish sailor sweaters. And this is all handmade, hand done from beginning to the end in Ireland.
I want to see that. Can you possibly put his chat down just so I can see his outfit a little better? Sorry, Ray. Didn't want to get rid of your spotlight, but this is even better. Interesting. Is this Ray?
This is Ray. That's right.
Okay, I think I met him one time on a quick little like after show thing. I don't know. Maybe.
I love his sweater.
That's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's like
it's handmade.
It's handmade Ireland sweater. Very
it's
nice.
all handmade.
That's beautiful.
With
I love a good
Irish
sweater.
sheep.
I'm a sucker for a good sweater.
Absolutely.
This is with Irish sheep that he
What can you
himself
say?
pulled out of the.
He sheared.
He sheared the sheep before.
And then he weaved the wool.
Those are impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Traditionally, these would have the name of the sailor also woven into the fabric so that if he falls off the boat and his body washes up on the shore, they would know who it is and they'll be able to bring the body to the family.
They're cable knit?
They're
cable knit
sweaters? Oh, cable knit. Yeah, I think there's some kind of a language, basically, depending on the pattern.
So the patterns are not casual. The pattern belongs to a specific family or clan, because traditionally, when this were a thing in 1600s or so, when the fishermen will be at sea, if something was to happen, by the time they wash ashore, the body will be unrecognizable. So they will be able to tell by the different pattern this person belongs to this specific family.
That's so interesting.
Yeah,
Does he have a website or something?
he does, and he's gonna send me the link very soon.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
as soon as that link exists,
Yeah,
I'll
these are
share it on my stuff too. I want to send the beautiful opportunities for people to get those sweaters. Those are gorgeous.
They're
What can I say?
absolutely
I mean,
gorgeous.
it's pretty cool,
it's
right?
not only handcrafted, it's quality material. Like there's nothing
It's
wrong with it. It's
traditional, too.
perfect.
It's
Yeah,
tradition.
traditional. And that's what's so beautiful about it.
The
Really
last-
cool.
It's hundreds of years of tradition.
Yep.
Now,
So cool.
now, you know, guys, you want to know the biggest tragedy of life, and the biggest injustice in this world is it's basically that, you know, Ray, he's actually fighting against, you know, the people who are, for the lack of a better word, basically ransacking the island, because there's all these small businesses that are owned not by the locals there, that sell fake Chinese made sweaters like this. And what happens, there'd be visitors coming in from somewhere trying to get a traditional sweater, and instead they will by accident buy the one that made in China, but looks like it's legit.
Wow.
And it's just, and you know, it's so difficult and really expensive, obviously, to make stuff locally on the island. And you know, Ray, he's a fighter. He's fighting against all odds, and that's why I also want to show support. I'm actually, if I go to Northern Ireland and Ireland, I'm gonna go to his shop to pick one up myself. And they have cardigans too for women.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I want one too.
Yeah, and you know, you're as a small business owner as well. That's kind of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
cool. We're small business owners helping each other out. By the way, welcome to the show, Django.
How are you?
Django used to be one of the OG
Yeah, you got
wristwatch
very,
YouTubers.
you got
What's
very
up, my
excited
guy?
there for a second.
I used to watch Django all the time. He was like this. He was like one of the studs of the watch world.
It's not very often I get called a stud. I'll take it. That's fine.
Well, Django, Michaela here, she now has you beat
Hello.
in YouTube
No,
subscribers.
stop it.
Yeah, that's
Don't
fine.
say that. Don't say that.
That's great. That's
You're
great.
putting me in an awkward moment.
No. We're just joking.
Hey, Django.
It's just a little bit of
Hey,
a
mate.
banter.
Got it.
We're all
Okay.
it's all among friends, right? This is at the end of the day, this is
Mhm.
a comedy show. I think we should have a little bit more freedom to speak here.
No, I'm
because
taking it away. No.
the world out there is a little bit too uptight. So
So true,
yeah,
Tim. You're so
right?
right.
Like it's so crazy. People
Yeah.
people get
About the wrong
offended.
things, about the wrong things too. And
Yeah.
then they're way too lax about other things that they should not be. So it's weird. It's like we all let ourselves go now, especially in the USA. Everyone lets themselves go, except for thinking and speech. And then in that case, it's like ironclad. Don't say this, don't say that, don't look that direction, don't look. It's just, it's so backwards.
Now, how do you able to not give a fuck? Because it is hard. It is hard out there. There's a lot of people. Hey, Django literally quit. Is it okay if I say that?
Oh,
Like,
no.
he left.
After he said
quit
it.
YouTube. He quit YouTube because
That's
it
cool.
was just fun. It was ridiculous, right? It was out of control, right, Django?
That was back in the day. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the
back
mafia
in
in
the
the
day.
background, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
He quit YouTube. So this is a serious. This is the
Yeah.
and Michaela. The bigger you get, the more targets on your back you're gonna have, right? After first whatever your appearance and whatever, you got already so many people who were jealous that you made that appearance. There's all these trolls are being created targeting you. So we you know, what do you? Yeah, how are you so cool? How are you able to not care?
Well, this is the thing. It's
Yeah.
you can't care about everything at once. And if you try, you're going to spiral. You're not going to fall asleep at night. And, you know, I think sometimes people, you just have to kind of pay attention once in a while when someone's trolling you, if you notice it. Pay attention to what it is they're saying, because they will find literally anything and make up things to try to make you look bad and stupid. And it just goes to show that there's something about you that they find so attractive whether they say they hate you or not, that they can't look away. So it's just one of those things. It's like, I just feel bad for them because they're just obsessive and they have mental problems. There's something wrong with your brain if you spend time trolling people. Like, trolling, it was for 13-year-old boys on Facebook back in the day with anonymous accounts. Being an adult and being a troll is so lonely and so weird, you know? It's like you're a very, very sad, obsessive person. You know, there are things I see and I don't like and I cringe at online every single day without fail. And guess what? I say nothing. I don't involve myself. I don't need to tell them that they're freaks. I don't need to tell them I don't like them. Even people who legitimately are so unbelievably cringy that they could definitely use a good backhand or something. I'm going to be honest, but I say nothing because it's called minding your own business. And one thing that happens in life is when you don't mind your own business, eventually you're going to pay for it. That's all I have to say about that. So they're just kind of losers. I'm sorry.
That you know what? Saying nothing, that may be the biggest insult nowadays.
Well, in my opinion, it's kind of twofold, though, right? Because, like Michaela was just saying, when somebody tries to do that to you, essentially they're just looking for a reaction from you, and any reaction is a win for them, right? When somebody tries to provoke you and then you are provoked, you are not in control of the situation at that point. You're just emotional. Your emotions are in control of you, and therefore they are in control of you. At the same time, I've seen how people can be on the internet. Believe it or not, I have watched a couple of other channels on YouTube. I'm sorry, Tim. And there are people that talk about serious things like stalkers and trying to dox people and death threats. Now, I've said this before, I say it again. I live in Georgia. Good luck coming to my place and thinking you can walk out of here. But unfortunately, that's not the same for everyone. If you have a family, if you have children, if you have a wife, if you have parents, God forbid, elderly parents or whatever, then it's a different thing. You feel like your safety is at risk at that point. Is it worth it? You know what I mean?
The next level. You're right. That's the next level, the other side to it. It's not all just silly insults and obsessive behaviors. When people want to show up at your door, they're stalking your family. I say bring back insane asylums. That's all I have to say.
I mean, or try that in Texas, see what happens. Yeah.
Django, you want to get in here?
Yeah, I was just having flashbacks when it was like, oh, people are going to hunt your family down and come to your door.
He had people calling him up saying, "I'm coming over there to UK."
Yeah, to kill your family.
To kill your family.
Guns and knives and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, those were good old days.
For what?
Well, this is interesting. This is the funniest thing, right, Michaela? This is the funniest thing. Is that at the point that happened, I was running Facebook groups. I wasn't even doing the YouTube. I wasn't even an online personality. And then for some reason, I took all of that and thought, you know what? I'll start a YouTube. That's a fantastic idea, right?
You were so good with it. The videos, man.
And I tell you what, and something that I learned, and I was a lot younger then, a lot more foolish, and my skin wasn't as thick, in the risk of sounding cliche. And there were certain things that people in live streams, in comments, mostly live streams, because with the live streams you get the immediate reaction, right? And they would come at me with all of this stuff, and it was hard not being able to deal with it back then, suffering mentally anyway, outside of the YouTube
because
stuff,
you reacted.
But it was down in lockdown as well, so I was doing that. Everything was fucked. Let's be entirely honest. So then, for some people to then come along in stream, say certain things, and it was immediately obvious at that time that it bothered me. And then after that, it was just like a pack of wolves. Seriously,
they saw fresh
that was
blood.
Like the downfall. Yeah, exactly.
Blood in the water.
They drew blood, and they were like, "Here we go."
And he had nobody to tell him, like, just ignore. If you just ignore, they can't do anything. But
yeah,
he tried to have a conversation and to calm everybody down. And what he didn't realize, these guys were trolling him. They were just reversing everything.
And this is the thing: when you start getting death threats via email, and then people start getting hold of your number and WhatsApp, and it's just like all this for
I feel bad. I feel bad hearing that. That it's too bad. It's like, why should we have to be so Why should we have to be so crazy in reaction to people like constantly threatening us online to make it stop? Because it doesn't stop. I am privileged to say, I live somewhere where I have a man that would literally do anything, any measure necessary to protect me if something were to happen. He doesn't play around. But I know a lot of people in a lot of states and countries, there are limitations to how much you truly can protect and defend yourself. But it even gets really weird, and because a lot of people will claim mental illness as why they're doing violent things, crazy things, threatening people. And then there's a lot of rules and laws that now protect these mentally ill people versus the innocent people who are doing nothing and they're getting threatened, they're getting their life threatened. I don't know. I think there needs to just be a new reformation. I don't know, and the rules and how they deal with that kind of stuff, but at the same time, that also hinders like free speech. So it's so complicated. And I think Tim has a good point of just, the one thing they want more than anything is your attention. That's what they want so
See,
bad.
Michaela, it can't get to the death threat because it has to get to the death threats. But
I've gotten death threats.
Oh,
I've
yeah?
gotten-
Just from
I've
random
gotten-
people?
Have
Just
you,
like out
have
of the
you
blue?
really?
I've gotten
really?
I could send
For
screenshots
what?
if you want. I have gotten anonymous screenshot. No, I have screenshots of anonymous messages, DMs, usually on
Wow.
Instagram, from accounts threatening to essay me. I'm just not going to use the word because I
Jeez.
don't want you to get demonetized. I don't know the rules that you have. I'm not afraid of using the words. I'm just trying to be
it's okay.
respectful
I
of your
think
stream.
that song
They're
already
threatening to
demonetized me.
essay me, come and find me to essay me, or to end my life, and blah blah blah, random stuff, calling me stuck up, calling me this, calling me that, and I'm just like, wait, so let's just, I didn't respond, I never would, but let's just get this straight. You find me so annoying, so wrong in my perspectives and beliefs, and also like the fact that I have a lot of traditional and conservative leaning values. I get threats for that too. So you find me so wrong for having these values that you think the proper reaction would be to literally end my life, which would make you ultimately one of the worst type of people imaginable. There is no logic in these people's brains. There's no reason to respond to them. And I don't even have a big presence online right now. I don't. I have a nano micro channel, okay, in the grand scheme of things. But even before my channel was even at the numbers it was, I was getting messages like that. People just, I think also it has to do with the fact that it's a lot of my politics, but I don't talk politics that much. But you can kind of tell. I just lean more conservative, but I'm by no means like a Republican per se. Doesn't matter. People are allowed to believe and think what they think, but that has triggered a lot of people over time. But yeah, just to think that even being such a small channel, I've gotten death threats is crazy. But I don't, trust me, my timbers are not shivered. I'm not quaking in my boots. I'm not scared because it's all BS, and they're just, most likely it's the same 5 losers that can't keep their eyes off of me that are sending these with a fake account. So
but this is the thing, it's like in the US, you guys at least have, well, for the most part, something to defend yourself with. Like in the UK, I was telling Tim the other night, for me, I literally have nothing. Like in the UK, I was telling him the other night, yeah, if someone broke into my house in the pitch black of night and tripped down my stairs, they could sue me. Like that's how mental it is in the UK, right?
I know. That's what I was saying.
There was a story years ago.
Well, you've got to make sure you kill them. You got
well, this is it.
You got to make sure you kill them.
In the UK, it's like if you call the police and say, "Oh, there's a strange man," say a single woman at home alone at night, there's a weird guy in my back garden. Has he done anything yet? No, he hasn't broken in. Okay, call us back when he does. It's at the point you're holding the jugular. It's like, oh, you stabbed me now. And then they actually do something. But there was a story
Minority
years ago.
Report.
Yeah,
what we need.
There was a story years ago of this army vet, and he was at home, had his wife and like pretty much newborn baby upstairs, and he heard someone coming up the stairs, obviously not expecting anyone at 4 a.m. As soon as the guy got to the top, kicked him straight in the chest. He was down the stairs. Jobs are good and right. In America, I'm assuming they pick him up and go, well, that was silly, wasn't it, mate? But here, the guy that broke in sued, and the guy that kicked him down the stairs got like 3 years in prison.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's mental. So for me, when I get those threats, exactly.
I'm so sorry.
When I was getting these threats, and people were sending me pictures of me like hanging with a noose and stuff,
not right.
and my family. and like my mum with her head cut off and shit like that. And like, I'm just like, okay, I need to maybe I reviewed a watch for Christ's sake.
Damn. I am so sorry. That's
I only had
I don't know what to
3,000
even
subscribers
say.
as well.
3,000, and that's what was
Yeah,
happening.
like 3,500, 4,000.
See, that's what
something
I'm
like that.
saying. Like, even if you are like a micro channel, doesn't. If people just are jealous or they're, and the thing is, implying people could be jealous of myself as a female. I'm not talking about looks. People usually think that's what like women are reducing it to. I'm not talking about being jealous of my looks. I'm talking about people being jealous of the fact that I open my mouth and I say my opinions, and I'm brave enough to do that, and I take the time and I create this channel and I cultivate an audience, and I have a community that I've become a part of, and they're jealous of that because it's something that maybe they could do it if they really tried, but they can't do it. They can't do it because not everybody has the right disposition for that. So in reaction, they try to get you to stop, because that's the only method they can take to stop being jealous of you, is just to make you stop, so they're not watching. They don't have to see it anymore because they can't look away otherwise. So then they send you threats. Then they try to scare you. Then they say all these evil things. So you just gotta ignore them. That's sad. I don't know. I almost just wish, even though I don't know you, I wish you would just come back and do a channel again and get flooded with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Just show them, honestly.
Yeah, and then you can tell them to come see me before they come see you, and then that's fine by me.
First. Like they need an interconnecting flight, I think. To come
Trust me, I'm not going to run of ammo.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure we buy those haters tickets on Spirit, because that's all they deserve.
I think realistically, right, and this is a conclusion that I came to a while back, is that all of these, I don't want to say haters because it makes me sound like a young kid, and I'm certainly not that. All of these people on the internet, these trolls, I think that was the phrase from when I was doing it. A lot of the time, it's quite a reactive process. Like you're giving your opinion, much like I probably did back in the day, although I was trying to be that everyone likes me person, so probably maybe not as strong of opinions as maybe you give, which it doesn't matter either way, right?
Right.
But I think a lot of people, they watch the video, and if you think of it like their thought process is the YouTube timeline, right? When you're watching a video, you got that little red bar and it progresses. In that split second, in that 10-second period when you gave that opinion, they feel this instantaneous rage that you've said something that they don't agree with. And I guarantee you, more often than not, they type that comment out before you even got on to your next opinion. And I fucking hate you, you're a piece of shit, whatever, blah, blah, I'm going to kill you. That probably passes so quickly. And I would guarantee that a vast majority of them probably look at those comments that they left if they happen to stumble upon it and go, what the fuck was I thinking? What is this? A lot of the time they'll send you these emails and it is just, you feel that anger, frustration just rush through your body. They do it then, they send it, and I would guess most of them don't even mean what they say, and they probably regret it pretty quick. And would they tell their family that they sent you that email? Probably not.
It would be interesting because also, like, a lot of people who leave comments, they don't know what it's like to be on the other end of the comment, because they themselves, they don't do any kind of social media or whatever. So they might, to them, it might have a completely different feeling. And I think for me as well, at least it was, sometimes you leave a sarcastic comment and it comes off as you're being, somebody might not be able to interpret that you're being sarcastic, and
exactly.
that's always a danger. But the thing is, in my opinion, is as long as you're engaging with the content, you should be taken seriously. But it's the ad hominem attack, right? Like, okay, let's say they disagree with something you said, but instead of saying why they disagree with something or make fun of that said thing, they just say, "Oh, I'll kill you." You know what I mean? This is the part where I don't understand why not be specific? Why not try to get an answer? Like, why just go straight to the nth degree?
Yeah, this is the thing, right? If you're going to go and smack a guy in the mouth, you're not going to, walk up to him and go, "I'm going to smack you in the mouth." So you literally walk up to him and punch him, right? I feel like most of the people that send these messages and emails, they're not going to do
They
shit.
don't have impulse control. They just
They're just losers, and
Yeah,
it's something that I
for
didn't say back in
real.
the day, but they are. Tim's
Well,
no
They
need in
Tim,
the
are.
stream to call it out, you know.
So how
Tim, you
can we
also have a
help
very
you?
unique way of dealing with people that come on here and just try to get under your skin because we invite them on the stream. So here is a link. Come on, let's talk about it. What do you have to say? And you will literally debate anyone. People
Yeah.
don't take you that seriously because they're here and you're trying to be a nice. I'm not saying you're trying. You're not. I'm just saying you come on here. You're friendly. You chat to people. You invite. Literally, I'm on here. Who the hell am I?
We
You
don't
know
know
what I
yet.
mean?
Yeah, no, listen.
I'm just some weirdo. But you
Well,
have a
fine.
very unique way of dealing with things that kind of puts people out there, and it's disarming because they come out here just typing away, and they're like, okay, here's the link. Come on, let's talk about it. And then all of a sudden, they're not going to put their face or voice to the issue. You know what I mean?
I must admit though, there's a severe lack of sunglasses on the channel at the moment, Tim. So
okay, wait.
I'm going to go for it. And
I'll
there was
join-
that
I'll
was
join
that one
Bingo.
guy. Who was that guy that was going, "You're finished, Tim. You're
You know
finished."
what's just funny is the amount of people that come on and troll and say these things that are so crazy. And they'll even show their faces sometimes on these watch shows. I'm not going to ever name
Yeah.
names.
Who doesn't show their face on a watch
But-
show? I don't understand this.
But it's okay. It's okay not to. What I mean is though, they will be so bold as to even show their face. That's what I'm saying. And then they'll say these crazy things, and then when even half that energy is met back to them, even a small percentage of that energy is met back, and they're hit with something similar back when they've been trolling and saying, trolling's not even the right word.
Yeah.
They're just unhinged little babies. They're not so clever coming up with some way to troll you, and they got you, and they're like playing some little mind game with you. No, they're just little whiny babies that want attention. And then when they're met with even a small percentage of that same energy back, they have a mental breakdown. And it's like, darling, you're too weak. Get off the internet. Get off the internet. Because we're getting death threats, and we're showing our faces sun shining and smiling with our hair combed half the time. Okay, with our hair combed half the time. And yet you are literally getting, someone tells you to shut up after you just threaten their family, and you go and cry about it for 10 months. Like, this is how the trolls are. They're pathetic. So I think, that's as much attention as they even need.
Yeah,
on
no,
this
actually,
topic.
I think that's what it is. Attention is the currency of the live streams.
Yeah. Also, why be miserable by yourself when you can try to ruin someone else's day at the same time? It's a twofer.
By the way, we've got we got some super chats here, just really quickly. Hope you guys don't mind. Ray,
Of course not. Go on.
Timmy, what does Michaela think of the white with the beanie while her ladyship is here? Thank you. Range of colors, the fashion experts.
That's the P.T. Womo look.
Yes.
That's cool. I like it.
Oh,
I like
right.
it. I
Look
like
at the.
it. It's not
I'm
a
sorry,
super
Michaela.
casual
Please
beanie,
look
I
at the
like it.
white leather sneakers. Look at the white leather sneakers, the dark denim that's clearly worn.
And the nice
just
cuff
with
on the
that,
jeans. Yeah, the nice cuff.
right? Right? With the
You know
with the watch is just there, so casual, but yet so absolutely doggone perfect.
That's a
That
really
is-
great outfit.
that is
It
a
really
look,
is. That's a
right?
bad
It's a
outfit.
strong look. Yeah.
Good,
That's
good,
right.
good fashion sense. I'm shocked. No, I'm not. Sorry, that sounds rude. I'm not shocked,
I'm-
but like casual.
By the way-
Here's the thing. Casual. Hey, hold on. Casual outfits are harder to nail. It's harder to make a casual outfit, I would say, look classy, because it's clothes that are more comfortable and casual in general. So making that look elegant can be a little tricky. You gotta have a good eye. So it's all about the individual details, and he's nailed it.
It's totally him. It's Ray,
But that's the
good.
thing. It's not an outfit. It's not an effort. It's just him.
Yeah.
It's just a stylish man.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
Those pants are naturally worn. They're not bought to be, to look like a
On the
certain
ship.
way. That's just how they are, because they're pants that are lived in. It's an organic look. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like too out there, but it's an organic look. It's amazing. It just suits him.
Cheeky Winders, 10-pound super chat for the travel fund. Timmy, quality and class on the panel tonight. Thank you all. Thank you so much, Cheeky Winders.
Also, sorry. Also, Michaela, can I try to sign you on to a cause against cargo shorts on grown men unless they're fishing?
It depends. Tim, do you wear cargo shorts? I don't want to hurt your feelings. I want to make
cargo
sure I got
shorts?
No.
No,
We have to
I
take a
don't think
stance. It's nothing to do
You're
with
right,
feelings. We have to take a
you're right.
stance. We
You're
have to
right.
take a
Got to
stance.
do the right thing despite people maybe getting hurt. Got to do the right thing.
This is a matter of principle, Michaela.
You're so right. We got to put this away.
I
We're
feel like
not
there's a certain age bracket.
little boys we're not little boys in the sandbox. If you're on a job site, I would say cargo pants with full coverage is safer. So there's really no need at all for cargo shorts. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Hey,
You're
Because I
not
got very
Tony,
hurt.
Tony Hawk. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
I think today is actually the watch apprentice who's in the chat's birthday. I think
No way.
I think
Happy
I think it was
birthday.
yesterday. It was yesterday.
Either way,
I think we missed it by a day. By my
Happy birthday, Watch Apprentice.
Happy
If it is
birthday.
you have 2 birthdays, so happy birthday.
It's
Happy
really
What about,
birthday. Finally
cargo-
21.
cargo trousers. What's the stance on those then?
Are you at work?
No, also
I
no.
think let's just put it this way. They are practical for utilitarian purposes.
Lots of pockets, right?
And therefore, I personally, just the way my mind works, I would just say they're best suited in a category of utilitarianism versus just walking around
You wear
town.
it for work.
I'll
for
tell
To
you-
take
job.
it back to the Tony Hawk thing, I grew up playing the N64 and GameCube. Tony Hawk Pro Skater was one of my favorite games, and I saw a lot of those outfits from a very young age as a young girl, and I knew from that time that I couldn't do it. When you're outside of those purposes, you gotta just try to class it up a little bit. There's a lot of great denim that's so comfortable and looks good. There's lots of casual, comfortable trousers that don't have 700 pockets. But hey, you know what? There's a girl for every man, and some girls really do like the blue collar look 24/7 around the clock. And you know what? There's something to be said for it. It's very masculine, but I think for me it's a category thing. It's got to be in its category.
Tim, you heard it
I
here
would
first.
not stand.
Masculine, basically.
Or there are 3 girls for every guy.
What do you think? What do you think
Tim.
of Lululemon's pants on men?
Please show me an example, because when I think Lululemon,
Oh my God.
I think of me in my high school years wanting to afford this expensive yoga pants that cinched the waist and made you look so cute, and I couldn't afford them, but the popular girls could, and I would try to get like the cheaper ones. And now as an adult, I got my first Lululemon product, my Lululemon zip-up jacket. I think of it in a very feminine way because of that, but I know that they've expanded to some men's stuff, so why don't you show me?
Yeah,
I would not stand for diplomacy unless you're working in cargo shorts or a no-go, or cargo pants or a no-go. And if you're wearing cargo shorts past the age of 12, my guy, please stop.
He
In the
said he
name
won't
of
stand for diplomacy.
decency, I will not stand for diplomacy.
I don't wear.
I am an American. We do not do
Right,
diplomacy.
wait,
I'm American.
we need
I'm
to hash
even-
this out. I need to know.
I'm even more uptight. I won't wear jeans after 24. So after 24, I do not wear jeans at all.
Whoa.
Absolutely. Chinos are good at any season, any weather. Get the right pants. You'll be
I
fine.
never wear jeans now. I would never wear jeans. I didn't wear them when I was in my 30s.
Super chat here. Cheeky Winders, £10 for the travel fund. Oh yeah, thank you. Really appreciate that. Versace boy, member for 27 months. Everyone, please say happy birthday to the Watch Apprentice.
There you go.
Happy birthday, Watch Apprentice.
Joyeux anniversaire. Happy birthday again.
There we go.
Buon compleanno.
And we got Humble Pine in the chat, $20 super chat. Have a good show. Can't stay, but we'll check in later if I can. Of course, Humble Pine, he's got that same Tutor on the Jubilee bracelet. That's the brand new
Somebody
Tutor.
say Tutor.
Yeah. By the way, Michaela, give us your take on this look. This was my recommendation for a watch for this gentleman here, Kleiner Han. Look.
Excuse me, I am many things. A gentleman is not one of them.
Yeah, how would you?
But thank you.
Yeah,
That's a gorgeous piece. Gorgeous.
that looks
Yeah,
really
solid,
good.
masculine. It's a Tutor. You said?
Tutor 41.
Sorry, my quality
Yeah.
in the screen's a little low, so I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's
No, my camera is competing with a potato for high resolution.
No, that's gorgeous. What can I say? Beautiful, masculine, structured, shiny, has everything.
Yeah.
And the
Good
watch is pretty
piece.
nice as well,
It's a
Kleiner.
solid piece. See, this is why they ran you off YouTube, because you were too funny. They couldn't handle it.
Oh, yeah,
They were
hilarious.
jealous.
Yeah.
You
I
got
think that's what
that
it
nice British dry, quick humor.
What I find really amazing is that when
Me? Oh.
yeah, I do.
Sorry, go on, Tim.
Is
Yeah, go on,
that
sorry.
you could actually see like your inspiration in Oshin's videos, because
Yeah.
he was obviously watching your stuff and he was kind of, bouncing off of your videos, and you can see a little bit of that inspiration. It's awesome.
I have a story on
You
the
got to put them
Tudor.
back up. Yeah.
So I was out tonight, and I was
Yeah.
looking around. Jesus, I look really bad with these glasses in
Pretty
the big picture.
badass.
And
You're quite dashing, sir.
I thank you.
I'm not even gay.
Not
Not
even.
yet.
You guys.
Not yet. I've got my cargo pants on, so maybe we can swing it. But I saw the Tudor 54, the Black Bay 54, and I must admit I was completely underwhelmed by it.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't want to. It just didn't speak to me when I saw it. It just did not speak to me.
Was it
I
too
do
small,
have-
too big?
I don't know. It was just I looked at it. It was nice. Like, I'll
Mhm.
give it that. But there was nothing intrinsically special there. It was just, it wasn't very exciting.
Yeah.
It was quite bland.
It's just a steel watch.
Still beautiful.
see
Still
here.
beautiful. Don't get me wrong.
Michaela, this would be a great watch for a lady as well. This is a 37 mil.
Okay, hot take. I think a wonderful Tudor watch for a lady, aside from the really, really hot take, the chrono, I think will be absolutely sexy on a woman. But
Chrono is a nice
Yeah.
watch.
the 58, the Black Bay 58, blue or black, I think is great for a woman. I have no idea. I'm sorry, Tim. It's a great watch, but I just don't understand why Tudor. Why 37 mil? Were they trying to bank on a
37.
trend?
You
or-
know why 37? Bro, because the Sean Connery Submariner was 37 mil. And that's
okay, but
this
Sean
is the
Connery also
recreation.
advocated for hitting women. We shouldn't go back to that.
No, I'm not advocating for hitting women.
That's
I'm pro-
directly related to
Yeah.
the watch, for sure. Directly.
I'm
No, we
against-
brought up Sean Connery. I'm just saying.
Sean really? That's true? It's crazy.
Tim, how many likes you on the stream?
Good question. Let's see.
How many do you need?
How many do we need? 100 likes.
You need 100. Okay.
100
I have
likes.
a deal for everyone.
Yes.
Okay. 100 likes, and I will show you what is in this box.
Oh
Ooh.
my god. What?
That's the deal.
We have an unboxing, guys.
We have an unboxing.
Let's get this started. Let's get the party started.
That's awesome.
After last night, it could literally be anything.
Well, there's an interesting story, but I can't tell the story before I've shown the watch.
Okay, so
I've
we're
just thought of giving it away.
55 links. Let's go.
Yeah.
Speaking
get
of really quick, the Lululemon pants you showed me.
Yeah.
I think those are fine because they're very unsuspecting. They don't look super like athleisure wear. I'm not big on athleisure wear, just outside of, again, the category that it's supposed to be used in. I'd say they look pretty decent, at least from what the details that I can see. There are definitely some giveaways that make it look like athleisure wear that I'm not crazy about. But I would say this versus cargo pants, sweatpants for guys, 100% better. Well, 90% better. You could get better. But if you have to, people really want to be so comfortable nowadays, which is fine. But that is almost to imply that there's no such thing as nice pieces of clothing that are also comfortable. People just don't realize that both can be true.
Yeah, this is
Work out
like
with those? Can you work out with those?
yes, you can.
Interesting.
So these are
Can
like
I?
gym pants, but that kind of fabric that looks a little bit more presentable. But it's just trying to be what it's not. It's
Depending
not.
on what you're wearing, though, it can you can kind of disguise it. If you're wearing like, let's
Yeah.
say, boots, I think boots like a good pair of uh, what's a good simple brand? It
Banana
escapes
Republic.
me. No, I don't know. Maybe Crockett and Jones, for example, has a lot of great casual boots for men that you can wear every day to switch out from sneakers that are really comfortable. So if you want to elevate your casual look, not go too far, you're not going to be wearing dress shoes every day. Boots are a good kind of category to look into. Look at, like, for example, James Bond's casual wear. A lot of times you'd see him in boots. Okay, anyway, but if you dress those with a good pair of Crockett and Jones casual boots and maybe like a polo or something like that, I think it could really easily disguise itself as kind of nicer trousers, honestly. And I haven't seen them in person, so I can't say 100%, but if you want to be comfortable, it's kind of a hack, right?
That's what I don't like about these pants is that this is for lazy people who want to look like they're not lazy, like they're actually putting in work. You know, this is this is so ridiculous. Father Time, has anyone on this panel ever done a hard day's labor ever?
Well, that's an
No,
interesting. That's an
Good question.
interesting. That's an
Yes.
interesting conversation. That's yes, because I used to wake up at. My dad used to wake me up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not, and I used to farm. I used to,
Oh, okay, okay. Let's do it. Let's go in order. So tell us about the hardest day of work you ever
you would
done.
pull the
Okay, so
shade.
everybody else, think about the hardest day of work that you ever
If
had
we
to do.
want to talk hard labor, when I
Yeah,
was
hard labor.
10 to 10 years, oh, let's say 6 years old, all the way up to 20, he would force me to go and work on the farm and basically plant corn. I'd have to like weed. I'd have to like pull, what is it? Pull excess um, hay that was like growing around beans. It was a pain in the ass. It was a
Okay.
total pain in the ass.
So you had to tend to the farm.
We had 40 acres. And because of that, I have a farm, but I have a huge farm now in Tennessee, but someone else takes care of it for me.
Uh,
So I know a lot about plants.
do you
Unfortunately,
do you value that you did that really hard day of work?
no,
Do you
I thought it was great,
yeah.
but I mean, he turned me off for 20 years on basically being on a farm, on doing farm crap.
Okay. What about Michaela? What was your hardest day of work?
Well, I believe in giving back,
Mm,
philanthropy. One way that I do that, in my mind, it's if you're going to look at it in the sense of, in my personal faith, we
mm,
believe in tithing, but sometimes you can't really do that financially, you know?
yeah.
So I say physically offering yourself to help people is really good. I've helped a
Yeah.
lot of elderly people with, especially like my own aunts and whatnot,
Yeah.
with their home, all of their everything from uh yeah, yard work, that kind of stuff, to
Yeah.
inside of the house, painting, literally like breaking your body, bending over all day working. I've done it many, many times. And I also was not raised in a very um I was raised with a lot of siblings and I was one of the
Mhm.
older siblings, so it was very much like I was a mother growing up. And
Wow.
yeah, so I have a lot of experience with it, but I would not compare that to like working in a construction zone. But
Yeah.
physically laboring your body all day, working and putting things
It
together, cleaning,
Michaela,
100%, many times.
it's work. In my opinion, it's not just physical; it is mental as well. Like managing siblings, making sure that, like, if you're left with some siblings and your responsibility is to make sure that they won't die on your watch, that's a lot of responsibility. It's mental strain that you have to, control this environment. So it's tough.
Yeah, I was a teacher for them. We were
Yeah.
homeschooled for
Oh.
quite some time in my youth. And I was a teacher as well when I was a minor and I was not. Yeah, so it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work teaching little kids how to read when you can barely read yourself. But
Wow.
definitely taxing. Don't regret any of
Yeah.
it though. I think it's character building. I think letting people be too lazy and not putting yourself through hard things and working hard It creates very foul people, entitled foul individuals.
What about Django? Speaking of entitled.
What the heck?
Okay, fine.
Subtle
I'll take
jab.
it. What was the question again? I've forgotten.
Your hardest day of work that you ever done.
Oh, I still do it. I mean, I'm doing my whole house myself. I'm a qualified joiner or carpenter, whatever you want to call it. So most days, I obviously I work in IT, so I do that. At the moment, I'm helping my dad. My parents are having an extension built on the back of their home. So I go and help him do all the carpentry. He's a carpenter as well. He's been doing it like 40 odd years. So yeah, I do all that sort of stuff, and then on the weekends I do my own house. I go over there, and we've been doing windows, making windows, installing windows. And I've always, like, back in the day anyway, I worked on building sites. I was always doing that sort of stuff. So I used to work in that before I had an accident, and now I'm in IT, wearing cargo pants while sitting at a desk. So
Yeah.
As long as it's not shorts, it'll be fine.
Those are important.
That's the thing.
skills.
I work
that
from
sounded
home.
like diplomacy to me.
Yeah. Well, I work from home, right? So I can wear, like,
work from home. You do what you want.
and then Star Wars pajamas, right? It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Your home is your castle. You do what you want in your house.
Yeah.
Please, 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 just don't go in public in your PJ pants, please.
I have a.
Don't do
Can I make you a deal, Mr. Django and Mr. Team Right?
Go.
Sure.
Because I think we're looking at around 110-ish viewers. So what if it's either 100 votes or a collective, maybe say $200 in super chats for the unboxing?
Well, I just got a $125 PayPal donation. How about that? How is that? Is that enough?
125.
Yeah,
that'll work.
125.
Okay, well then.
Would that be enough, or do we still have to get another 75?
No. Well, I mean, if we said 200,
I mean, you said 200. I'm asking you. We got 125
I'm sorry. Are we not?
Here.
I'll put my money where my mouth is.
Holy!
He's desperate for that unboxing.
Whoa, Michaela,
We have to fund the strip.
Unbelievable, Kleiner Hund, dude. I guess
Also,
you know what? Let's get another 20. Actually, you know what? Humble Pine super
That's
chatted
grosser.
$25 earlier. That makes it whole. I think that we could unbox it.
We're talking about
What a great
hard
day
day's work.
to get.
I'd like to point out, I am 1,000 there. I am the 75%. So please don't ask me about work. I'm the 75%, maybe 80%. So clearly, I live in luxury of NATO straps. I have a wealth of NATO straps, which I've learned this is how you display those NATO straps now. Okay, we had a long conversation yesterday.
The way to cup it.
Absolutely. Sure, that's one way to put it. I don't have the right tailor for cupping, but okay. Sorry, Michaela, that was a whole different thing from yesterday.
It's okay.
So, are we doing this?
Let's do it for Michaela. What a beautiful day to get a new watch, celebrate here together with friends.
Can I just put this
it's
down?
for me. All right, I'll take it.
Oh yeah, of course it is. I think Tim just wants. Right, wait.
By the way,
can do
Michaela,
this.
when it's your next time on the whatever, I'm gonna try to join and kind of watch it live with everybody, so we can try.
I will send you those details.
Some support. Yeah, definitely. We'll
send
be
you
in
those
the
details.
chat cheering
Look
for
at that.
you.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are we taking bets?
Yeah, let's take bets.
Is
What
that
is
a
it?
Tutor? Is that the 54?
Why is this not?
Oh,
why is it not?
you have the background, the feature turned on. You have to.
No, I have it off. I think it's
you
just
have it off?
struggling because it's a black desk. Right, give me a sec. I can rejig some lights.
Rejig some lights real quick, and while you rejig some lights, I'm gonna have one really important question for Michaela. It's regarding relationships, because it's about how do you know when you're in the right relationship or when you're in the wrong one. So it's coming up right after this Django unboxing.
2 seconds.
What could it be?
I'll have a
Michaela?
lot
Do
of
you have any
questions for
guesses?
Michaela if she sticks around.
I think it's something pink for sure.
Pink.
Dial, rose
Yeah.
gold, lots and lots and lots of ugly diamonds too.
Yeah. That's basically it. It's the
No,
Rainbow
really, I have
Daytona.
no idea.
You
I
know
have
what? That
absolutely no
looks like
guess.
an Omega box, but it doesn't say Omega on the top.
It's interesting. You should say, "Oh, why is it?"
I think it's a Rolex.
Stop
the
that.
way
Stop
it
that.
is.
Well, I need to tell the story afterwards
Yeah.
of how I got this watch. I think this because the camera keeps moving. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it because this will be quite a good
What could it
unboxing if
be?
it just stays still. There we go. I think that's it. I think we got it. I need to keep my hands there. Okay, what are we saying?
You know what?
He said it was an Amiga. Is it an Amiga?
An
It
Amiga?
can't be.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
That would be.
You know what? I'm gonna stick with Tutor Gang. So I want to say Tutor.
Okay. Has anyone in the chat guessed yet? I'm not sure if they have.
JDMTL says Omega.
It looks like a Rolex outer box.
Well, this is the thing. I went into the Omega boutique actually earlier, and I asked about the Speedmaster, which obviously this is not because it's nowhere near big enough. And they were like, "Oh yeah, it's probably going to be about a 2-year wait. We can put you on the list." I was like, "Oh no, fuck off. I'm not interested." Bye. I've done all the wait list nonsense. I can't bother with that anymore.
We have Newbie saying Omega and Billy saying looks like IWC box.
It's a Rolex. It looks like a Rolex to me.
Oyster.
Oh no! Django got a Rolex.
Ooh. Let's
Wild.
see.
What's M for? What's the M?
Medium.
Tim, do you know this?
Medium
things?
box.
Medium box.
Oh.
Unbelievable.
Zodiac Rainbow. I don't know what that means.
There we go.
Ooh.
That's so cool.
Date.
I wish.
Ooh, no. You know what? I'm gonna say New Explorer 1, the 40 millimeter. Why
Really?
not?
I bet you.
Sure, why not?
How would I have got hold of that so quick?
A nice two-tone.
What do you
date
mean?
chest
You're a
or something like
YouTuber. You have content. You have the leads. You have the leads.
Let me make this look nice before I take it out of the box. Here we go. Because it's not new. It's not new. I'll give you that clue.
that. It's not new.
Damn.
Oh, it's
No.
great.
No, it's
Oh,
not
so-
grey. It's not grey. I need to tell the story afterwards, otherwise it'll really give it away.
Somebody, Newbie says OP, and Versace Boy says Explorer 2, JDMTL Explorer.
Did you buy it from a friend?
Yes, technically.
Oh my god! Did you get your watch back? Somehow.
Anyway, so let's see
Was
what
it-
it is.
Was it a friend of yours or a friend of ours?
No, a friend of mine. Yeah, a friend of mine. Are we ready?
Let's see.
Any last guesses?
Explorer 2, Polar Dive.
Explorer 2.
Explorer 1.
Explorer 1.
Is it
So
39?
this is the good news, right?
Congratulations.
I can come.
That's nice. It's
My
perfect.
room will look like
Yeah.
shit. This is the good news. It is my Explorer 1.
Wow.
Excuse me, can we put it on the wrist?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
of
got
course
your
I can.
watch back.
Excuse me.
So I sold it to a friend all those years ago. Well,
Mhm.
was it years ago? I can't remember how long I sold it now.
Many
How long
years
ago it was when I sold it. And we on the stream last night, and then he messaged me randomly earlier today and was like, "Oh, you know what? I bought this from you. I've never actually worn it. Any chance you want it back?" So I literally, I gave it to him for retail, and he sold it back to me for retail. So it was like divine intervention.
Congratulations, man.
And it was my favorite
Congratulations.
watch. So yeah, there it is.
Wow, look at that.
Nice.
So 39 you said or 36?
That's the 214270. So 39.
Okay,
Beautiful.
So, that was-
beautiful.
ironically, that was the one that I regretted selling the most as well.
That's so funny. I think it was either Dirk or Oisin the other day. We were just talking about how you always regret selling a watch. You just always regret it. So you
Yeah.
regret it so deeply that you got it back, and that's just really cool.
Yeah,
That's
unfortunately, the Submariner and other Explorer 2. I don't think I'd buy the Explorer 2 again. It's a bit too big for my liking. But I had the Polar Explorer. This was just what I had at the end, actually. I had so many watches at one point. What did we say to him? It was about 90 grams worth of watches, something stupid. But yeah, the Explorer 2, yeah, the Polar dial was a beautiful watch. I literally got it on the cusp of the new model being released. But yeah, I sold those two. I don't really regret those. I don't think I'd
It's
buy
a
that
big
again.
watch.
It's a
compared
bit too
to
much.
30. This one, the 35th, was it 54?
Yeah.
34?
37.
37?
I think if they made that 40 millimeters or 39, it would be perfect.
Here's the problem. You've come on Tim twice, and now you have a new watch. Tim is a really bad influence on people.
That's the Explorer 1 is all you need. It's a very stylish watch. And
Yes.
what did we learn from Sean yesterday? There's a difference between style and like
Class,
fashion.
absolutely.
Oh,
Fashion,
100%.
right?
The
Oh,
problem is
yeah.
Fashion
now,
comes and goes.
There's a
And
gorgeous quote that
yeah.
says, "Fashion is something that is so ugly they have to change it every year. Style is timeless. It's ephemeral. It doesn't change. It translates."
but this is the thing. The only
Yes.
problem is I'm now effectively like Adrian Barker from Wish. That's the only problem.
Stop it! No, that is so funny. No,
Now-
don't say that.
That
Now
comparison
what
was
you have
made
to
so
do-
Do
many
you want
times.
do you want the grey NATO?
No, I don't need.
Put on a
I did,
NATO
no,
strap.
when I did streams with him, that comparison came up consistently afterwards. That I'm just Adrian. What was his name? Adrian Barker.
Adrian Barker, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Bark
just
and
a
Jack.
2.0.
The
Yeah,
Bark and Jack.
No, you have a much better beard.
thanks.
Yeah, I was actually disappointed. He made a video like a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago. It's probably been a week now, and he was actually praising that AP did a collab video with Nico Leonard.
Ugh.
Yeah, right.
I don't quite get that.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like
Maybe it's
oil and
desperate.
vinegar. Why would they stoop down and do that?
They're desperate. Nothing wrong with YouTubers, but like Adrian tried to make it out like, hey, this should be. It's good that AP is doing collabs with YouTubers, but I thought, oh man, it's a little bit more.
I
a
mean,
little
what's
bit more
next?
to
Is he gonna
that.
go watch? I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, if it's because of numbers, that's just still, you have to think
Probably.
about your brand, because think about how many celebrities, for example, have way more fame, notoriety, and everything than even someone like Nico, who is what, like, does he have like 1 million subscribers or something?
He's got
I
like
don't-
1.8
Yeah,
million. But
I don't know.
But
I've
it's not
never
like
been
he
a-
edits the videos, right? It's this. He's got this team
Yeah, of course,
behind him.
But
Yeah.
the reason that in the first place he's popular is because his personality is relatable. He's very like, anyway. It's never been my style of content. Let's just say that. No hate, but I've never watched one single video all the way through. Anyway, no hate. Don't know him. Don't care. But I do think that's kind of interesting when a brand will choose a numbers person. Maybe they didn't do enough research. Maybe they didn't.
I can say this for certain. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, maybe they didn't
I
do
mean-
enough research because.
Or maybe he
I don't
has
know.
it in with one of the boutiques, like in Ireland or something like that, and they recognized them and went
You want to
forward.
see something?
I don't get it. I just
Speaking,
don't.
Tim. Speaking
Yeah.
of recognition, here's a video. This was actually just sent to me. This is a video of apparently a really famous reporter walking and just kind of interviewing people at F1, and apparently he just walks past Nico. And it's just a interesting moment that happens, and let me just play it for you guys. Let's
Yeah,
get
we
it.
need to see this. I think
Why? As you can see, there's Nico standing there thinking, oh, he's going to get... No! The guy just walks past him.
he's going to
Oh.
recognise me. I'm famous. Maybe not.
No.
You know what? Nico's content, I think, burst into the scene like, I think it was like pandemic time, right? And I think his content, his style of content was well received by 15 to 17-year-olds that just like the screaming and shouting and the celebrities. I think they've all moved on now.
I actually have no respect for that kind of content because it's just being churned out. It's not like this is the content that's instead of someone creating entertaining content, they're reverse engineering content. They're looking at the audiences, right? And they're creating the kind of audiences that they think would watch this stuff, right? And so what do? They have to create a video that just keeps people's attention, and it's these fast
Yeah.
cuts, and it's not real. It's
Well,
not real content. It's not
I,
real
I would
video.
argue that it's the sort of content that doesn't necessarily aim to retain an audience. It aims to consistently hit that algorithm, hit the homepage, and get those young punters in.
I mean,
I think that's the type of content.
if you
But can you pull
in
up
terms
Newbie's
of
comment?
just being engaging, if you talk about the art of making engaging videos, yes, they're very engaging, I guess, because they research what the audience wants, and then they make a video for the audience, right? They use the tools. They have a special team that basically does it. But anyways, like I have no respect for that kind of content. It's just being churned out. It's not really I don't know, how would you say, it doesn't add anything to your knowledge. Like, you're not really gonna learn anything. Oh, this celebrity this collection is not as good as this guy thinks it should be.
Tim, are you telling
It's
me
not
that it's
really.
absolute brain rot? Is
Yeah,
that what
it's
you're
just
telling
brain
me?
rot. Exactly. Yeah, it's really bad. It's
Can you pull up Newbie's comment as well, please?
yeah, okay, let's
I
pull up
enjoyed this
newbie.
comment. Yeah, please.
Newbie, this one.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
That's Martin Brundle, ex F1 driver. Why would he recognize a fat used watch dealer? That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't understand what. Look, it's crazy. It's crazy. Nico is he like I was like friendly with him. I was okay. I had no problems with Nico. And then one day he just flipped on me. He just flipped on me for no
Is he
reason.
not part of the mafia?
Because I'm not part of the cartel. I don't toe
Not
that
cartel.
line.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I don't toe the
Well,
line.
I don't know enough about him simply because I just am not interested. I'm going to be really honest. I don't know enough about him to say this. However, a friend to one's enemy is no friend. So if you're friends with people, or you associate with people that, let's say Nico, or someone doesn't like, you can only expect that they are like, okay, well, I'm done with you too. That's just how it is. People take things personally. The whole watch space is full of so much drama, so many problems. It's so complicated, because I think it's because there's so much money involved. People get
Right.
very, very hurt because finances it's such an emotional thing, even though it's not. It really does just trigger people, and gets people to be selfish and do things. And the whole thing it's pretty complicated. Hopefully you can hear me well. I had to take out my mic.
Yeah, okay.
No, we can
My
still hear
mic,
you
my
perfectly.
headphones. Okay. I know it's a bit
Loud and
airy,
clear.
but
You
yeah.
know.
Anyway, I don't mean to slander somebody I don't know. I have
No,
no.
This is not slander.
No, I'm saying me personally, not you.
okay.
I'm talking about myself.
Here's the thing. Nico, what I don't like is hypocrisy. And Nico, like, he pretends to be a watch expert, and he tells people to buy, gray market, look at
what he has in stock.
pricing, get the good deal, right? Buy factory. But then he comes out with a PRX quartz
Oh yeah.
for 1,300 pounds, right? That's supposed to be some kind of limited edition investment watch. And then I just find it a little bit hypocritical. It's not really. He's if he was giving good advice on watches, he should probably just stick to watches, and just focus on trying to serve your customers best, because it makes no sense to me. He can't be making his own limited edition watch and say that, no, you should buy watches that hold value. Makes no sense.
People always, it's like merch, never mind. But
Nothing
it's a
wrong with
whole
merch.
thing.
If people want to look, and you know what, Michaela, I actually I understand the way he was trying to monetize his channels. He's got big audience, right? He's giving advice to like these super millionaires, to buy these really expensive watches. But he knows that his audience actually are kids, because he's talking about the celebrity musicians and kind of athletes, right? And usually the audience for that is a lot of kids, and you can't sell watches to kids, so he has a line of merch, the whole God tier, and that's why he likes G-Shock. He doesn't really see this is what you have to understand. He doesn't really like G-Shock. He doesn't think it's God tier. He just knows that majority of his audience is kids, and you need to be able to sell certain product to benefit from kids, and that's why he appreciates Grand Set. So it's like it's really transparent, and I find the whole thing just really off-putting.
I understand.
Yeah.
I might have to wrap up in a second.
Yes,
Just
yes,
letting
yes.
you know.
Of course, Michaela. We have Sean joining us. Let's just get a question from him before you leave, and I want to really thank you for coming on the stream tonight. It's
Of
it's
course, it
always
was
fun
fun.
talking to you.
It
And
was
it's
fun.
yeah. And hey, I can't wait for the next whatever podcast. Oh, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the trick. Okay, because relationships, whatever is all about relationships. This is the question I have.
Okay.
How can you tell, okay, when you are in a good relationship or whether you're in a bad relationship? Okay.
So, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
Asking for a friend,
how
right,
could
Tim?
somebody tell when there's a lot of people out there, they're in relationships. How could they tell that they're in a good relationship or whether in a bad relationship? Because the problem that I see is that sometimes people be in a good relationship, but then there's outside people who want to ruin it for them, and they're trying to tell them no, that you're actually in a bad relationship. Or somebody might be in a bad relationship and somebody might be telling them like, hey, you're in a bad relationship. They're right, but they're thinking they're in a good relationship. How could somebody figure it out?
Yeah, it's a very simple
Yeah.
thing. I think it's like life is hard, so nothing's ever going to be perfect. You know, outside things happen that bring stress that you cannot control, work, all that kind of stuff. But in general, if this person that you're in a relationship with is your stress, is your greatest source of stress in your life, I'm sorry, it's not good. If somebody is your source of peace, you know, it doesn't mean you can never have arguments or disagreements. Again, I'm just stating that because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. Life's hard. People get sick. There's a lot of stuff that causes real stress. But if at the end of the day, this person is not your peace, they're your stress, that's all I have to say. That's the greatest way to measure it, in my opinion. Now, the solution, that's more complicated, but yeah, that's about it, I would say.
So it's if you're getting from this person peace or stress. So if somebody's in a relationship and this relationship is causing them stress,
More stress
it
than
might be-
peace, yeah.
right.
Or just the vast majority of the time, they're just stressing you out. It doesn't matter how or what, like for what reason. If they're stressing you out because maybe they're constantly nagging you, if they're stressing you out because they want you to be somebody else, they want your personality to change, they want your looks, your style, everything. They don't like you. Like, it's a sign that they don't like you. Okay, if they're always complaining, always being stressed, they might love you because you can grow to love and care for someone. But if they don't like you or they don't like themselves and they can't deal with their own emotions, they might just stress you out constantly. That is not the right partner. I'm sorry. The right partner is somebody who, at the end of the day, they're like your oasis. They're your oasis away from the stresses of the world, and they bring your blood pressure down, because otherwise they're just going to kill you. It's just going to end your life. So that's
what if they take away your dinner? Asking for a friend.
Hey, that's crazy. What?
What?
What do you mean take away your dinner? That's mean.
Tim, I don't know. Maybe you should explain. I don't know.
Can I ask you a question, Michaela?
Have we got Ray joining us? Please.
Hi, Ray.
Yeah.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes, Ray.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, guys. The amazing Michaela, thank you so much for honoring us with your presence.
That's far
You're
too. Thank you.
Sorry,
Ray, I'm
I
also
didn't-
here, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, Django. Yeah, and the lads. Right, whatever. The
Whatever.
amazing, And the amazing Michaela, you are the essence of ladyship. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You're making me
thanks a
blush.
million.
Thank you.
And here's the other
Sean, legend.
Here's the other walking, talking
Wow.
work of art,
Whoa.
Sean.
This guy
Hello.
out.
How are you,
Okay.
Ray?
Hello, sir. Great to see you. And as always, dapper. That
I
blue
have a
blazer. That
I
blue
have a
blazer
potent
is.
question, Michaela. We need your thoughts on this. This is strong. I feel.
Sure.
I'm gonna go, Django. I'm gonna jump off, mate, to do it. Just the thing is, Timmy, I can't super chat all of a sudden.
Oh,
I'm still a
sorry.
thousandaire, but it's just a glitch of some sort. It hasn't gone.
Thousandaires. That's what I'm talking about.
Thousandaire. It hasn't gone to my head at all. But the good news is I'm gonna knock off the drink as
Oh,
of I finished drinking as of now.
wow.
Sober sailor is nice. Drunk Ray isn't. So
God
the
bless you,
website.
Ray. Take care.
So first of all, with regards to Sean, what are you going to what are you going to criticize? What are you going to
Sorry.
criticize? How handsome he is? There's nothing to say.
Well, if I cover the face, maybe, but while the face is on display, there's a lot to criticize.
No, your face
Thank
is the best part. Your face is the best part, Sean. So
Oh,
anyway,
thank you.
Sir, are you calling me a liar?
the
No, you're too
website to
kind.
me. I'm going to jump off to me. The website for the woolly jumpers, the genuine hand.
Text it to me. Text it to me. I can't find it. Text it me.
Yeah, it's aronsheep.ie. Thank you very much.
Okay. Text it.
Thank you.
Take
Sorry,
care,
Sean.
Ray.
Over to you, sir. Over
Bye,
to you.
Ray.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Take care, Ray.
Michaela. Thank you, Michaela. You walking, talking work of art. You.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
See
Bye,
you
bye,
on
bye.
TED Talks. See you on TED Talks next,
All right.
Michaela.
All right. I'll dedicate it to you.
Thank you.
Take care, Ray.
Sean, good evening, sir.
Hey, good evening. How are you, gentlemen? First and foremost, to the lady, Michaela, I just a couple of things I wanted to jump on and say. One was, you look great on the beach in Santa Barbara. You and Eric belong in California, Central or Southern California. I think you felt. I thought you were at home where
Oh,
you
thank
were, with all the beautiful flowers and the sun. It was just it was great. We enjoyed the video.
thank you.
Kleiner, Timmy, and Django, hello. I wanted to also jump on real quick. We were talking about Gerard Perregaux yesterday, correct? Was it
Yes.
yesterday
Yes.
Yes,
or
it
the day
was.
Yes, it
before?
was yesterday. It was
And I
yesterday.
just want to say, Gerard Perregaux
There you
rocks,
go.
baby.
There you go. It's a legitimate brand.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
Is that a chronograph?
Look at that.
It's a chrono.
That's disgusting. Get that off.
White dial?
And no, it's not a white dial. This is a cream dial, and
Oh.
the hand for the second, the chrono second, is very thin, and at the tip is a rectangular red arrow, and it's got sunken registers for the second and the minute for the chrono. And this thing, the color combo with the rose gold, the rose gold is very subtle, very similar, I would say, probably to Cartier. And with the contrast stitching, gorgeous alligator strap. This thing belongs in Saint-Tropez.
Wow. People were asking, is Gerard Perregaux above Rolex? Yes, it's above Rolex. It's they make.
I wouldn't
It's
say
high
it's above.
horology. It's definitely high horology. Definitely.
Yeah, it is high horology.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
in finishing, in kind of a because we were looking at the Laureato, and a steel Laureato, Sean, you're not gonna believe
Yeah.
it. It was going for 6,700.
No, I saw it. I was
Wild.
on it. It looked great. It's a great price. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite watches of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody knows anything about it, and it's beautiful. And then this thing here is curved. It's a big watch. It's curved, and also the crystal is curved on both sides. I mean, it's not easy to make this crystal for this. But just wanted to jump on. You guys have a great panel. I was
And
back
it's a
to
high class watch for a high class
to
gentleman. There's no
my
doubt.
office, and just wanted to say hello to everybody, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Sean, thank you so much.
Thank
by
you,
the
sir.
way.
Bye-bye.
Hopefully you saw the unboxing, the re-unboxing.
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, yeah. Django got his old Explorer 1 back.
Wow.
Yeah,
Here, I'm sorry. I have to. I'll watch. I
yeah,
have
yeah.
a call to take. Take care,
Take care.
guys. Bye
Take
bye.
care.
Bye.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr.
Bye bye. And Michaela, sorry for keeping you even longer. I know I told you I'm gonna let you go. So again, I want to thank you for joining us. It's always fun talking to you, and I can't wait for the next whatever podcast. It was actually really good podcast, and I really enjoyed your contributions.
Thank
I
you.
have a whole bunch of questions regarding
You
the
know, you can
podcast.
ask. Let's
Maybe
go.
we'll
Let's
do it
go.
again.
No,
No?
go ahead. Shoot.
Yeah?
Let's go. Let's do it now.
Well, oh my God.
No
Qu-
pressure.
yeah, no pressure, right? No pressure. I mean, it's all relationship based. Like you answered you like what is a good relationship? How do you know okay, how do you know when to get out? Or yeah, like you said
Yeah.
like if a relationship causes you more stress,
Hmm.
then good. But I think a lot of people might not even understand where
Yeah.
who and where the source of their stress is. How
Yeah.
could they know it's time to get out, or should they stay forever?
Yeah, that's why I said, the solution to that, because my
Yeah,
opinion is you're in a good relationship if they bring you more peace than
yeah,
stress. Especially for a man, men and women are different. And I think for men,
hmm,
um, and I think it's very important for them to have a woman that brings them peace and that helps him on his mission, I guess, in life.
his mission.
Women and men, we need different things from each other. We need a lot of similar things. I think for women, we need provision, but it doesn't mean financial in any way, shape, or form. But think about the general expectation that women have, the underlying expectation that we have for men is that if push were to come to shove, it would never be a second thought. We would always expect and we would stand behind the man to protect us. That's what I mean. There's a lot of this like intrinsic stuff that women, we have these expectations for men to provide for us. It's not about just financial or even financial whatsoever. In this modern day and age, that would be nice. Yeah, of course it'd be great to get, to get money and not work, but I'm a hardworking woman and that's not my lifestyle. I'm modern in that kind of way. But I do think that piece and that kind of thing is very important. Okay, then to move on from that, the solution to if that person is bringing you more stress than peace, that is complicated because yeah, like you said, not a lot of people can accurately measure where the source of their stress is truly coming from. I think a process of elimination, if you're at the breaking point you feel of your relationship that it's just so hard and stressful, you don't know what to do, like should I stay, should I go? I think the process of elimination of any kind of stressor that you can eliminate from your life, at least for some time, just to kind of see the results afterward. But I think a lot of times it's just hard when you're married, you have kids. Divorce is not, it's so painful and it's
Yeah,
not always the right solution. But at the same time, you get one chance on this earth, you get one life. And if your husband or your wife is making your life a living hell, what was the point of your existence? What's the point?
right.
You might have a couple good times, but if you're suffering, I'm sorry. That's another way where my thinking is a little more modern. I don't think people should get divorces like it's nothing.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I just think you should not stay in something that's making you feel miserable. There are steps to take before you just cut the ties, You can try to go and talk to therapists, like marriage therapists and whatever. But I think once you're at the point where you need that therapist, it's already thin ice,
So do you think there is such a thing, like there's certain relationships that they work, there's certain relationships that work, and there's certain relationships that don't work. There's just something natural about two people that they just can't get along. Or is it natural that people can't get along, or is it a matter of education because people don't know how to get along? Like some people,
Mhm.
like they genuinely might not know how to behave in a relationship. Like what do
Mhm.
you think about that?
So I think think about in a workplace, like you learn certain rules so we can work together. In general, in society, we learn certain social etiquette and cues so that we can coexist and not, oh, walk into our neighbor's house and steal from them because we want something. Like we know all these social cues. So in relationships, yes, you can learn and you can be educated on how to get along with each other. And it's definitely worth trying if you're struggling to get along. It's definitely worth trying to learn the tools how to get along better, and sometimes it takes a professional to help. But I think after that, give it your best shot. I think after that, honestly, science can't explain chemistry, and some people have chemistry and they just work. It's like you're saying, sometimes it just works and sometimes it doesn't. You
Yeah.
can learn all the ways to coexist with somebody that you're in a relationship with, or your husband or your wife. You can learn the tools, you can educate yourself on how to coexist. But if you don't have that deeper connection, and I know a lot of men would roll their eyes at that, like, oh, only women care about deeper connections. I just don't buy that. I don't think that's true. I think ultimately people want to feel seen, men and women. We want to feel seen. We want to feel respected. We want to feel valued. We don't want a partner that just is polite to us, like just because they need to be. We want someone that is excited about us. And it doesn't mean like you need constant thrills or anything, but I just mean like they like you. They don't want you to be someone else. They like you. There's always room for
That's absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
As a man, just to.
That's a really good point, right? So this is liking stuff that your partner likes. If they like something, maybe the society might look down upon it, but if they like it, then and you get a partner who's supporter of it. I think because at the end, right? Like, what is the meaning of life? And I guess the answer is to be happy, right?
42.
Yeah, right.
I've heard that a lot. Yeah, 42. That's the answer.
42, or is it 42?
Yeah.
Is it?
You know what? I used to stress about that, Tim.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you bring that up. What is the meaning? Why am I here? What is the point?
Yeah.
So coming from someone, right? And there's always a very consistent path that people of my age and slightly younger are expected to take, and that's you go to school, you get a job, you meet someone, you get engaged, married, have children, and that's sort of like the blazed path, right? So for me, I'm not doing any of that. I don't plan to get married. I don't plan to have children. Me and my partner have agreed upon these things, and she's a teacher, so she's happy not to do that anyway. But I always used to ponder what is the point, and this was back when I was having spouts of depression and stuff, like why am I here, what is the point? And then I realized there is no meaning. There's no real reason. There's no real reason. No, there's not. I'm not in a negative sense. Not in a negative sense.
Okay.
What I'm saying
just in
is,
the random sense, you just think that.
you shouldn't. You're here by chance, right? You shouldn't ponder this massive question. And
does it matter? So you're
but
saying,
does it matter if there's a meaning? No, if you are happy doing what you're doing, I mean, don't go robbing and murdering people. You probably shouldn't be doing that.
If it makes you happy, though, then
if you are happy in life, maybe that's the answer then, right? To be happy. I think I just debunked my own theory in that sense.
So but you're more nihilistic person, like you're more...
but just generally.
Well, if it really makes you happy.
Yeah, but should I be doing this? Should I be working more? Should I be making more money? Are you happy? Yeah.
Don't worry about them. I think the problem. Look, I think you might still be right with what you said. Like, because
I'm always right.
You should go out and do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Like, like the problem with why if you really like murdering people, why it doesn't work.
I mean, only on the weekends. Tim.
No. But it's still true. It still holds true. And the reason is you shouldn't do it, even if it makes you happy, is because we have laws that basically will put you to jail. So if you do try to murder somebody, they'll put you in jail, and then you're not going to be able to go around and murder people. And so you have to find something else. Like,
so you need to move to a remote island where you can get away with it.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing is, it's not that being a nihilist. I'm not personally a nihilist, but I understand it, and I have dabbled in my past, not gonna lie. It doesn't mean that nihilism necessarily welcomes hedonism. you know, just constant pleasure seeking, doing anything for pleasure. Because the truth is, with a mathematical equation, you do something so selfish for your own pleasure, such as murdering somebody, and the side effects are the consequences of that are great. So being nihilistic doesn't necessarily mean that you don't weigh out consequences just
Okay.
because nothing really matters, so you might as well do anything you want. Of course, you weigh things,
So
you
you're
know?
saying pleasure is not the same as happiness, right? It's a
Mhm.
very important distinction, and I think a lot of people get this wrong. They think that pleasure equals happiness. It's like eating a cheeseburger. Maybe it brings you a lot of pleasure up front, but then you feel horrible. First of all, it
Much
makes you
pleasure. Oh my
sick. Yeah, probably it causes cancer, and then you get the
What?
yeah. No, it's processed meat. It's horrible for you.
Oh, processed. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like the worst kind of.
Yeah, but
Anyways,
at the end of the day, if all you expect is happiness, you're going to be thoroughly disappointed. Um, there are responsibilities, there are sacrifices that you have to make. I think I may be crazy, but I think you have to look at results, especially in relationships.
hmm
Uh, and it may be hypocritical for me to say, because my marriage did end to someone that I to this day love very much, or at least love who she was.
hmm
Um, but I think it's a matter of results. You have to be willing to make sacrifices and go through hardships in order to obtain a result, in order to provide for someone, care for someone. Sometimes you have to put someone before yourself, and that is a sacrifice that is not necessarily fun or joyous or pleasant to do, but it's its own reward. It's a hardship, but it's also it is a reward. It's result based. Does that make sense? Am I crazy?
you know what? I think what you're trying to emphasize is that it's okay to carry more weight than your partner, right? That's what you mean. There might be tough times where you have to be the provider, and then maybe there will be a reverse situation. As long as you're kind of feeling like it's not one sided, you're not being taken advantage of, right? I think that this is where kind of balance comes in. Maybe because look, American society kind of trained that men have to be providers, like it's 1920s where women couldn't work, right? And men, they had these amazing jobs and they could pay for everything, right? But it's not the same. Today is not the same as before. You can't get a job and provide, for a
I don't
whole
know. I
family
heard
nowadays. It's
I
it's
heard an
it's
old couple on
yeah.
the internet, one of those street interview things, and I kind of like what the lady said because somebody was like, "Oh, do you believe in 50-50, whatever that
Mm-hmm.
clickbaity thing?" And the lady was like, "What are you talking about 50-50? Marriage is 100 and 100.
A hundred
Why?
and one
Why?
hundred.
Right? What is this 50-50 thing?" Uh, I don't understand a lot of these things that just to bring it back to the
Mm-hmm.
whatever podcasting. Some of the things that the people on there talk about just confuse the crap out of me.
Oh
I,
yeah.
I see this. I see these women who are there talking about, um, but the talking point seems to be body count, promiscuity, and just generally being immature. And then the question is, oh, let's talk about relationships and marriage. Why would you want to get married if you don't value it? You're just talking about, oh, I want a high value man. Number one, what's that mean? And number two, if you just want somebody to pay for your way in life, then I don't know what to tell you. Get a job.
No, so unbelievably, it's so unbelievably mind-boggling how simple these people view the severity of a relationship. They literally chalk it down to something so transactional. Like their ultimate goal is just to find, yeah, high value man, whatever that means to them, which is usually just financial, right? And they believe that their life should be paid for because they're a female and they're pretty and they're sexual and all this stuff. But it's just like, life is so much deeper than that. Relationships are so much deeper than that. It's so transactional the way they think about it. So when I was talking about with these ladies on the show,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like no one was even understanding where I was coming from because their mind is in a different plane. And I don't mean,
Yes.
oh, I'm so much smarter and better. It's not what I mean. It's just that these women who are all single they're probably, especially the older one, it's like you're single because you are so transactional in your thoughts, and it repels men. It's repellent to them because that's not what human beings want. Everything, of course, isn't a transaction, but to look at people that way when it's so much more complex than that. Like one of the women was bringing up, like, oh, you know, if your husband gets sick and you have to take care of him, you're his maid, like saying all these horrible things. It's like, if you love somebody, you would sacrifice your life for them. You would lay down your life for them. What are you talking about? Like that's a negative thing. Like their minds were boggled by the fact that that's not what love is. So it's like
That is
you have to
absolutely
start
what
an
love is. I've seen
element.
it in my own life.
You have to start with like an elementary level discussion with these people about this, because a lot of them really have never even had a. I didn't necessarily have a great example of love growing up with my parents, but still, like, I don't know what it is, but luckily I got to experience it in my life at some point or get a good example. I don't know what happened, but I think a lot of these girls didn't have any example of that. And then they don't realize they're running amok in society just with this poison in their head that,
Yeah,
yeah,
God
men
forbid your
are
partner gets kidney stone. You should just get a divorce because they're going to be in bed for a week.
yeah, and you're gonna it's just really, really shallow. It's
But
really sad.
this is the product of, because like we as people, we're product of the people that we're friends with, right? And a lot of these girls or a lot of guys in that area, they're products of OnlyFans, right? They're not thinking of like OnlyFans the way we think about it, right? Because imagine we have all this knowledge before we even knew what it was, but to them, it's like OnlyFans is kind of life, and it's for a lot of people. Like they grew up on iPads, right? Like when I had my first iPhone, that was 2008, right? A lot of those girls, they were basically they got their first phones when they immediately came out. So they're products of social media and social media bubbles. They go into certain social media group and their life becomes the product of everything that's discussed in that small group that focuses on something really small, and that's where they get their value. Because I went through American education here. I went to middle school, I went to high school. you know in school they don't really teach you any kind of social skills. It's very, you read a couple of books, you write a couple of basic essays, you study kind of general sciences, but there's no science to kind of help you with the social skills. At least back in the day, there was a shop class, and shop class, at least you're working with your hands. It's a kind of a social, cooperative class where you're working with other people. I'm also kind of lucky because I grew up in Ukraine, and we had a lot more free time to socialize over there.
I don't
But
know. I would really like to ask those women. Okay, so you're talking about wanting to get why?
mm,
Why do you want to be married? What's the value that you find in marriage aside from okay, now somebody's going to pay the bills?
right,
What's the
exactly.
point?
That's the problem. That people don't even know why they're getting married. Like, what is it?
It's
What
because
is
they're told
marriage?
to. It's drilled into them from a
Yeah.
very young age. And someone, the comment's long gone now, I think, but someone put a comment, which is exactly how I feel about the whole thing, is that two people that through no other ideals other than they just love each other or like each other, whatever, like me and my girlfriend, we don't plan to get married. We don't want children, anything like that. We just choose to be together. Like we have no interest in marriage. It's not just like a contractual thing. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm very anti-establishment anyway. So them fuckers getting involved in anything in my life, I don't like. Um, yeah, we just want to be together, and then that's it. There's no marriage. There's no ring. There's no contractual agreement to someone else. I think, kind of, maybe you put it that way. There's none of that.
So,
We just choose to be together.
for example, marriage, that's a social construct, right? That's something that
Exactly,
that we
exactly.
created as a
But that,
society.
but it
Yeah.
came
but it
It's
has
interesting
roots.
because certain things of like couples sharing a bed, that became a thing back in the day when people were quite poor, so they had to. I think it was after the war. I read about it somewhere once. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, it's the whole marriage thing is just you get some tax benefits, I guess, right? But you do in the UK
Okay,
anyway. I
all
don't know
right.
if you
Now,
do over there, but
if I can interject. So
Here's somebody experienced.
yeah,
basically, I was married for 19 years. Divorced
The
2016.
longest marriage you had was 16 years.
19 years.
19
a long
years.
time.
19
Congratulations,
years
Tim G.
with her for 21 years. One day within 8 years, at the end, we just fell apart.
What happened? What? How does it
Okay,
go?
so basically, three things for a guy reason to
Mhm.
get married. I hate to say this, but it's fundamental.
Well,
One is
let's see it. Let's see what
one is companionship. So that's an
companionship.
obvious one. All right. I am religious, but I don't go to church. All right. I am religious. I do believe in God, and if you're into Christ or whatever you're into, that's fine.
Mhm.
So I was brought up Episcopal and Catholic. Anyway, real quick, also, so that's the first thing. So companionship. Second thing for a guy, sex.
Mhm.
Okay. Very important. Intimacy is very important. We can call it many different things: love, sex, anything else. Very important. Third thing, believe it or not, and the younger generation doesn't think this way, including my children who are in their 20s, late mid 20s,
Mhm.
is third thing is children.
Mhm.
Those are the three reasons to be married. Okay.
Mhm.
Because if you're not really married, you have some sort of a social issue. What if you're bringing up your kids? Even in today's society, where I don't care if you're a boy and a boy and a girl or a boy and a goat, but you should be married if you have kids, because it's a social issue with the children. Okay, and it gives a heavy input on the children. But basically what happened in my marriage is that the sex fell apart. I wish I said I cheated over in the last 8 years of our marriage, but I did not.
Because sex is very important for you.
But
And
sex is like everything for me. Okay, it's more important than
well,
watching.
what if she said? What if she agreed to open marriage, where you can go out
No,
and
I
have
wouldn't
sex,
want to.
all sex you want?
I wouldn't want an open marriage if I was married.
Okay.
Okay, I
Okay.
wouldn't want. I have one steady Eddie, and then I've got two others just in case. Okay, because you just don't know how a female acts from 30 to 45 years old, and unfortunately, I look at three things when they get older. One is if they're bitter. Guys too, if they're bitter.
There's
So
some bitter
people,
guys. I know some
so
bitter guys.
in the chat, I can tell. Like Dirk, hey, I hate to tell you this, Dirk.
Shout out to Dirk. Dirk is very bitter.
You sound a little bitter, buddy.
Very bitter. He's
You
very
sound a
bitter.
little bit.
Michaela,
You
Dirk is
gotta
your
prove
biggest
it.
fan in the chat.
You've been basically busting the whole time here, bud. Okay, I love you, but you're
He's
bitter.
going crazy.
Okay,
Dirk, come down. Keep
Dirk,
it in your pants.
keep it in your pants. So one is bitter. Second thing is put together. Okay. So if you put together, that's like a big thing. I think I mentioned this with Michaela in one of her shows. The third thing is actually something when women get older, if they have children from another marriage, because basically if they're 18, if the children are under 18, it's very difficult to have a relationship, because obviously they're more in tune to take care of their kids. It's only makes sense. So until the kids are grown, are over 18, then it's really hard to have, unless
But that's if you want to have kids. What if but some
if they don't
partners
want to
might
have
want to have
kids. Like
kids?
I have my sister who has a relationship since 1984, never married, no kids. 1984, they have two homes together. Okay,
Yeah.
never married, but it's joint in these liberal states. So there's some sort of, if they broke up, they broke up. But I can't
Well,
see. I used to poo-poo that. So
okay.
because
Well,
they were never married, okay, but their
let's
relationship lasted longer than my marriage.
get Michaela's take on this. Is Tim G a misogynist?
Yes.
Misogynist.
Yes,
I didn't
absolutely.
hear even one single thing that he said that was hating women at all.
Can I ask Michaela and Team G a question then? Because I would like to get to perspective. This is something else I've been trying to figure out, and it's something that's usually brought up
Yeah.
during those types of shows, like the Whatever podcast. There seems to be some type of divide between men and women these days, like an actual kind of like along political lines type of divide. Why do you think that is? What do you think a lot of young people seem to be having it? Or is it just the internet trying to sensationalize this thing on shows like the Whatever podcast, what is it, the Red Pill movement type thing?
Are you asking what is the reason there seems to be such a big divide between men and women in this day and age?
Right.
I think,
Or is there?
no, there is, I would say, but I would also say that's like on a wider scale, and I think it's also with certain age groups more than anything. I think depending on the era that people grew up in, before, like Tim was mentioning, social media, I think that men and women, they worked out and understood each other's differences. And was everything perfect in the past? Absolutely not. But there were also some things like that kept people understanding the differences between men and women. There's always been an understanding that, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We are different, and we used to, I think, kind of understand that a little bit. I don't know if we understood it more, but I think we just kind of accepted it more. And now I think because of social media, everybody is talking and yapping and talking about it. Yes, a show like Whatever Podcast sensationalizes that, but at the same time, it wouldn't be so interesting to a lot of people. They have almost 5 million subscribers. It wouldn't interest so many people if it didn't exist in the first place, that divide. I think social media has just made a big tattletale big platform for tattletaling on each other. He did this, the man did this, oh, the woman did this. And you know what? There are so many things that women have done to men in divorce courts, regarding children, regarding lots of things, that makes me completely understand why people would be against getting married. But then also, it doesn't mean that no one should get married, period, if they want to. I personally, because I don't go to church either, Tim G, but I'm also a religious person. I do see the benefit of it and the weight when it comes to that, like spiritually. So I'm pro-marriage, but I also understand and would never believe in forcing people to get married if they don't want to. It's a recipe for disaster. But I think social media has made it so everyone can call each other out for our darkness. And I think it's just gotten so overwhelming because we've seen it so much and it's just all in our faces constantly that it's made everyone very freaked out. When it used to be you talked amongst each other and like that was it. I don't know.
People are a lot quicker to end relationships nowadays, would you say?
Maybe. Yeah. It does seem like,
Whereas,
stats wise, divorce is a good way to measure that because we have more numbers on it.
yeah.
Divorce rates have gone up since the past. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I think people shouldn't stay in a marriage that they are truly suffering. I don't.
Well, let me ask you something. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Tim G right here, perfect example of perfect example. He's got 3 marriages. Okay, he said his first marriage fell apart because there was no sex at the end. He was in it for 19 years.
One marriage, 19 years.
Oh, one marriage, 19 years. Okay, sorry. One marriage.
It's changing it.
Come on, Tim.
So he didn't go. You didn't go into marrying anymore. You're done with marriage.
No, I didn't say that.
You're open to another one.
38-year-old. There's a 38-year-old that wants children.
Okay. Now, so you were with this in your first marriage for 19 years. You said 21 years in total. How old were you when you broke up?
I was around 54.
54, and she was also around 50 something.
7 years younger.
7 years younger. So she was 47. Let's just say.
Yep.
Okay, 47. Okay, she was 47. Tim G, I mean, look, people are free to not want to have sex anymore. And, you said for you it was a deal breaker. What do you think,
I think it's part of a marriage contract, actually.
Is this a deal breaker? I mean, I don't know. Let's get a women's opinion.
Okay. Yeah, that's really It's
This is
tough
something that's
because
really important to Tim G.
it,
Tim G said
and
he loves sex.
it's not just Tim G.
Yeah.
This is the reality of the human
A
condition.
lot of
Of
men
course,
love sex.
it's
I
not
hate to
even
break
just
the
about
news.
loving. It's not just about loving it. It's a
Yes.
a human need. Okay,
It's a
so
need.
in a marriage, that's a partner, and that's somebody that's supposed to have that with you. But the
Mhm.
thing is, it's it's complicated. Women have all these reasons why they start feeling emotionally turned off to their husbands because maybe
Yes.
she says he's not being considerate, this or that, and it's making her feel so turned off to
Yeah,
him
maybe he's eating all the
emotionally.
cheeseburgers and he is repulsive. Not
Or
that
what happens a
Tim G
lot of
is actually
men.
a really good looking guy.
I
He came
know,
on
agreed.
camera before the live stream. Sexy guy. Sorry.
I think it's a lot easier to be intimate than to talk about intimacy. To sit down with your partner and have an honest conversation about turns on and turn offs and what's happening and how you're feeling. Especially, I'm not just saying women go through,
But
changes hormonally through, as they get older. So do men, right? Things change. But it's easier to just, oh, we're having sex, we like each other, we love each other, whatever. Even if you have been with the same person for a long time. But if something changes or something happens or whatever the case may be, I think, and maybe it's just my shortcoming, I don't know, but I think it's a lot harder to have a conversation about intimacy than to
Well,
be intimate.
okay. Michaela is raising, I think, a really important point, right? That she might not want to have sex with you. There could be two reasons. It could be the woman. It's possible, right? Guys sometimes don't want to have sex anymore either.
yeah,
They might have ED. They might have all kinds of problems, right? It happens. With
I
guys,
had actually I actually was gonna finish that point I was making. I wasn't done with it.
yeah. Please continue.
If that's okay, I just really quick.
Yeah.
So there, of course, are a million reasons why a man or a woman, things can happen medically. Lots of stuff can happen.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is something that it is, unfortunately, if you're struggling with that, I don't know, individuals do need to try to figure out what's going on. And yeah, it is hard to talk to each other about it and have that raw conversation. But not being intimate with your partner ends a lot of relationships, and it makes people have contempt for each other, which once there's that contempt in the relationship, I mean, actually, what kind first, the contempt or the lack of intimacy? It could be either way. Actually, it could go either way, but that contempt is what ends the relationship. Honestly, it's just once you start really disliking your partner, husband, wife, whatever, that's when it's
Okay.
kind of going downhill. When it's, you might still love and care about them, but once you just really start not being able to stand them, you don't like them anymore, that's complicated. I think that
Oh.
it is sad, but I think a lot of the times relationships could be healed if, maybe the wife needs to get her hormones checked seriously, get on some vitamins, figure something out, and get some things sorted so that she can be that for her husband. Because if a man needs that, that's not wrong. It's just true. And people go into marriages knowing that. There should be no forcing of anything. 100%. Of course not. No forcing of anything. But it's just, I think if there's a problem in that area, whether it's coming from the man or coming from the woman, and it's causing that lack of intimacy to happen, there needs to be a very true effort made. First, sit down and have that uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
There needs to be a true effort made from whoever needs to make it to change that. And if you just simply can never fix it and it's causing such a rift between you two, it's very possible that it may be best not to be together. And that's just sad and that's just true.
Wow.
But I think it's extremely important.
Wow. This is
I'm in like total agreement
oh
with
my
everything she says.
Tim G, what did you do? Okay, what did you do
I did nothing.
to make your first wife have contempt for you?
She was basically going through changes in her life.
Okay, so you're just saying it was her fault. Okay, if this is how you want to go about it. Okay,
That's
no
how
problem.
I always look at
It's okay.
everyone.
Listen,
Everyone's
no,
into-
it's true. Look,
No, I mean there's other
did
issues.
you have the uncomfortable conversation with her?
Oh, marriage counseling. The
What?
minute you go to, the problem is marriage counseling. Once you go to marriage counseling, it doesn't do anything because all it does is
No,
it
Tim.
all it
Tim,
does is
you
make
said
money. It makes money. It just makes money for the marriage counselor. It's almost like the only people that make out during a divorce are the attorneys.
no, Tim. What I'm saying is, when she stopped having
Sex. Go ahead.
sex with you,
Yeah.
Did you ask her why?
Absolutely.
What did she tell you? She told her this is just her hormones,
This is hormones and
and she
everything
said,
else.
I'm unwilling to do anything about them.
I even told her to do stuff, to go
And she
to
said,
places, and she said
no,
no.
not for
Yep.
you.
No, she
She did
said
her
no.
job. She raised the kids, right?
She's stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, so she did her job, right?
Stay-at-home mom, and then the kids went to boarding school. So you explain that one.
It's hard.
So
Raising kids is hard.
my other thing is that everyone needs a purpose.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a purpose. So make sure that everyone has a purpose that they like. So that's another like big deal. So even if you're 90 years old, you shouldn't retire. You should just have some sort of a purpose, because when you wake up in the morning, you should say to yourself, "What's my purpose?"
Whoa. Okay. That's important. That's important.
And I don't care.
actually ties us
I
back
don't care if your
into
purpose is. I don't care if your purpose is
yeah.
to be a waiter in San Francisco at the Tadish Grill.
That's a great
Okay?
purpose.
That's a phenomenal purpose.
People need to eat.
And not only that, but you get great tips. They probably make more money than I do. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you have to find your purpose. That's all. And I don't care what age you are, because what they've done in the U.S. I can speak with other areas. I can't speak with other countries. Is they said, okay, you're gonna have Social Security at 62 and a half or 66 and a half or 69 and a half. But if you take a look at people like Warren Buffett and stuff, they're still working.
I
Yeah.
disagree
And
with
someone like
Michaela. I
Hobby.
disagree with everything Tim G said.
But it could be a hobby. It doesn't have to be
well, yeah,
working for the man. It could be a
I
hobby.
agree. My job right now is a hobby. What I do is a hobby. So
Something you want to
it's-
do. But yeah,
exactly. It's when I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and go to bed at like 1:30 in the morning, I actually like what I do. So it's a hobby. I don't know where it places in the hobby. I have like 4 other hobbies, but it's a hobby. But I really do think everyone needs a purpose.
Yes.
And that was the problem with my ex.
She
yeah,
didn't
that's-
have a purpose anymore.
when you
And,
don't have,
and then it causes
you.
depression. It
when
causes
you're
depression.
depressed, you don't have a purpose, or you're being a stay-at-home mom, I think would be so hard. I just mentally, it's one of the most no, I'm not saying it's harder than a man working an oil rig. No. But it's one of those like self-sacrificing things.
Yeah.
So you do have to let a part of yourself go. And I think when people are experiencing that, when women are, a lot of times they get depressed and they let themselves physically go. When they let themselves physically go and they don't feel good about their bodies, they then don't feel like being intimate
No,
with.
she had a. I mean, believe me, she worked out on her body.
I'm just saying, think about it, how the percentages in the U.S. at least, I think it's like 49 or 51% of U.S. citizens or Americans are obese.
It's
So,
also
and that makes a lot of people not feel like being intimate with their husband or wife. Like, that's just a true fact. And hormones and all that stuff, health needs to be addressed. It's true, but you can't force your husband or wife to address the things they need to address. They have to make that choice on their own. It's hard.
Hey,
my watch channel. Thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships, and he also sent another $5 super chat. Says that's the watch hobby in one word: hedonistic. But it doesn't have to be. You could buy watches for the right reasons, or for the reasons of collecting. And I think there's a lot to be learned, and there's actually collecting watches has actual applicable lessons to just the way you live life. Ray, €5 super chat. Aaron Sheep IE. There we go. We got the website. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat if you wanna check out Ray's handmade, hand pulled Aran Island Irish knit sweaters. It's available now. AaronSheep.ie.
Can't wait.
I'm gonna pick one. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up one of mine in person. Sometime soon. On only on the movie. One day retro Timmy learned the art of soul reading, and Tim G is the first
Yeah,
victim.
I'm such a victim.
Uh,
Probably the biggest victim on the panel. Probably not, but that's okay.
well, Michaela explained it really well. I hopefully people are taking notes because sometimes. Sometimes people don't want to hurt your feelings, and they explain things in a kind of a backwards way. You have to read between the lines. That's what Michaela is telling us.
I'd like to point out the reason why the Team Right show is way better than the whatever podcast. You can say you're religious, and nobody's going to tell you how you need to live your religion. We just accept you
Mm.
and let you live your life, and have freedom of religion on this channel. I think.
Of course.
Don't mean to speak for Tim, but that
but
part of the show really, really, really upset me to
That
no
was
end.
really annoying. It was just to talk about religion. It's like, no, look, I understand religion almost translates to like ritual. I get that. Then if we're gonna like police words so strictly, you mean okay, you want us to just call it faith? You want to, whatever. So they really went hard about that, and I learned some stuff and I yielded to it. But at the same time, wow, that's a big turnoff. How aggressive and controlling they were talking about religion on that show. Just like, you can't be a part of our cult if you don't do exactly the exact methods, and it
Who
makes
are they to tell you how to live your faith? That's ridiculous.
I know, yeah, and that's a whole other conversation, but that's interesting you brought that up because that was definitely an odd moment. But
The
what do you
Team
get?
Right show, I think, it's about freedom. It's about freedom of speech, freedom of the Constitution. There's a Constitution on the Team Right show.
of course, by the way, there's also freedom to leave as well, Michaela, because I've kept you another hour somehow.
Yeah,
Let's see.
we kept you
Let's
we
pull the
kept you
magic
very
trick.
long.
I've done the Irish goodbye. I just hung up and left.
But hey, if you want to stay another half hour, I'm gonna do a 3 hour show. That could be if you got another 30 minutes, what do you think? Or if you want to leave, then we'll talk about some of the things that you mentioned. What up to you? However you want to do it.
I think I do have to head out now, but
Yeah.
seriously, thanks for having me on. That was
Yeah.
so generous of you, and it was a great conversation. It was great to meet Django
Michaela.
and to talk to Kleinerhoon
Hey.
and MG. Good talks.
Michaela,
Michaela.
you're part of the watch
Thank
community
you.
now. You can just tell me to fuck off anytime you want,
Aw.
and just drop off. It's all cool. You're part of the gang.
Tim, I would never do that.
It's all in the fun. I don't take anything seriously. We're trying to learn here from everybody. That's why look, I'm open. I'm open to everything, and I just want to learn from people and understand where they're coming from, because I think this is actually the key to everything, right? Those other girls on the whatever podcast, they learned that stuff from somewhere, right? So they're living in some kind of bubble, and I think it's our responsibility to somehow at least maybe save ourselves, because I mean, in a way, we are in this watch community. It is a form of a bubble. We all gonna think in a very similar way, and it's kind of, I don't know, a little bit of our responsibility to be able to see the real world as well, and try to bridge the gap, or at least try to understand the other side.
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, well,
And
thank you again, Tim.
good luck on the next episode. And I would even, I had a lot of notes that I took, and maybe we'll even just chat like off the stream for a couple of minutes before you go on the next episode. And I would love
Sure,
to
I'd love to.
obviously have you back for the follow up. Okay.
Oh, thank you. All right, I'll send you more info, Tim. Bye. All
Good
right.
luck.
Pleasure
soldier.
talking to you.
Hi.
You too. Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Michaela's cool. It's hard, man. It's going into those whatever podcasts. It's like a viper's den.
I've literally only just connected the dots of what the whatever podcast is.
Yeah.
I've seen loads of clips, but I've never actually sat down and watched it.
Yeah.
But I see it sometimes, and some of the women and men on that podcast, I see the clips. And I'm like, what the
Yes.
fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's
But
incredibly
it
frustrating.
is. What was the there's that transgender lady who's
Oh, Eloise
oh,
or something.
yeah, I'm like very, very large and very odd looking, in my opinion. And she's like, yeah, I'm a 10. So what the fuck are you
I
on
mean,
about?
it's their business model, isn't it? To get people to say outrageous things, put them on the shorts.
Yeah,
Michaela was mentioning this, I
it's
think in her video as
interesting.
well.
Yeah, the people they have on there is interesting. I sometimes feel like it's set up. Like I saw a clip of a girl, and she was like, "Oh, you guys are just like really misogynistic." And he's like, "Okay, no, that's fine. Can you define misogyny for me?" And then she just starts crying.
Then your comment on when someone tells you that, you just say Mr. Misogynistic to you, and you just agree and you move on.
Yeah, it's just like they said, "Okay, can you
So
define that?"
they don't like alpha males. That's what they're saying.
No, but then they would call one if they needed a policeman, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Or
it's one of those things.
they want a guy who's an alpha male.
I
So
don't know what any of those things mean. Like I understand what they want to say, but I honestly I don't subscribe to any of this new internet lingo. It just bothers the
No,
crap
no,
out of me.
no.
It's as corny as the Facebook T-shirt. Inside you, there are two wolves. What are they doing? Pooping? Like fuck off, guy. I'm sorry about my language. It's just frustrating.
Hey, it's all
Oh,
good. This
dear.
is why we're here. We're just commenting on how things are. Listen, we if it
Well,
wasn't for Michaela, we wouldn't be watching
no.
the podcast. Let's be honest.
We can take some solace in that
I
we are relatively normal, which that
yeah,
statement alone is fucking
Whoa,
normal,
whoa,
right?
right.
whoa,
So
whoa, whoa!
that's
Let's
the
everybody
thing.
calm down.
I what it made me think more than anything is it made me frightened for the way that this new generation has been raised to see the world, right? And even like one of the hosts, he was really like he was pushing this like he was very transactional, and they were really pushing it like, hey, all guys they have to be the providers. It's a little bit too
Yeah.
it's a
But
little
they've
bit
been
too
raised.
pushy about that.
But they've
Yeah,
been raised
and
by social media. That's
as
the
if
problem.
women
Yeah.
also by default expect, and also like the debate over should guy pay on the first date. That
I
was
hate that debate. I
that
really
was
hate that
it's a
debate.
really funny debate. That's just
Well, I've always one of the
mm,
reasons, one thing I hate, and it's a
mm,
massive red flag for me, and I think everyone has. But
mm-hmm,
this is we need to change the channel topic.
mm-hmm,
Full stop. No more watches. We just talk about this shit. One of the massive things for me that I had in a few partners in the past are really materialistic people. Not
mm-hmm.
just women, men can be very
Oh yeah,
materialistic as well.
oh yeah, yeah.
So when I was engaged before my current girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
she was really materialistic, like overly so. Like everything was about image. Um, I have to force this woman to get a new fucking phone when hers is broken. She literally does not care about anything material, and it sometimes frustrates the hell out of me. Like she's like, we do well, like together our combined income, we're comfortable, right?
Yeah,
Um, but everything is 50-50, and that's a her thing. If I try and do any more than that, she doesn't like it. So like that. She's just green flags all over the place. So I think that's something that's very important to me. Because
Isn't
when
that
you've got,
how the world? Sorry.
well, yeah, exactly, that's how it works, right? But
mm,
when someone you sort of get a sixth sense, don't you? You can never really put your finger on it, and you can never prove it a lot of the time when you have those initial feelings. But there's always that feeling you can get sometimes as a man that you're being taken for a ride. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
y-
you serve a purpose right now, but once you don't, or you stop spending money on me, which is how I felt in the last relationship, that's
yeah,
when you're out the door.
yeah. Well, there's I think I actually I think that there's people with certain personality. I don't want to call them disorders, but they're kind of personality types.
Narcissistic is
They're
what
kind, yeah, right. I don't want to say it because it's such an overused term. They're
yeah,
narcissistic,
I know.
but they're actual no, but there actually are people who legitimately they function according to those rules, and it's almost like there's just a and look, This is what what separates person from an animal. Like, do you know, like Django? What is the difference between you and a shark?
Nothing.
No, there is difference.
Very predatory creatures. both,
No, no,
both of them.
no.
I'm less wet than a
Let's say
shark. I know that.
dolphin.
Okay, dolphin. In what respect? What?
Well, what
I guess
separates you from a dolphin?
we're
What makes you
higher
different from a
functioning, aren't we?
lion or an animal? What makes you different from an ant?
Much bigger.
Much bigger.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't dig as well.
yeah, I don't know what are we trying to get at here. I mean, as humans, we're more in tune. We don't act upon like animal instinct, do we? It's sort of been conditioned out of us, hasn't it? We're
So,
like
but that
higher
exactly.
functioning.
Like there's the free will, right? That we have consciousness. We can actually
I mean, they
choose.
all have consciousness, but they
No,
just
no,
act
no,
upon those
no. They
animal
just run
instincts,
like a
don't they?
program. They're just like programs. They
I
don't
mean,
have
ants
consciousness.
definitely do. That's a fair point. No, I can see where you're coming from. No, it's interesting. It's a good
Like the
standpoint.
way the dogs are trained is that it's not because they actually understand that that you want them to sit. They just learn to associate the sound of sit with you giving a treat after they sit down. They don't actually know you're telling them to sit down. Like they don't understand what's happening. Okay, they're
My
just
dog doesn't
programs.
do that anyway, so maybe
Yeah.
maybe he's very intelligent or he's just a little shit. It's like one of the two.
But
That's interesting.
yeah, and I think look, there's some people have certain personality traits that are stronger, and then they override. And I think everybody has something, a certain feeling that they have in them is the one that they have very little control of, and the one that kind of overrides everything else.
I think there's something going to the personality thing. I think
Yeah.
there's something to be said that in my experience anyway, there always has to be a stronger personality in the relationship. You can't both be on the same kilter, as it were. Like, so in my relationship, I'm the much stronger personality. You almost need the really strong personality and the person that's just along for the ride. Not in so much taking the back seat, if you will, but they're just a bit more chilled out, a bit more mellow. You need that dynamic a lot of the time.
Well, I think right there's stronger personalities, there's weaker personalities. You're saying like a weaker personality needs a stronger personality, but what if two personalities are kind of balanced out?
Well,
Then
I
they would
think
need a
it
balanced
is.
personality,
Yeah, it's
right?
interesting, isn't it? Because I say that, and in the
Yeah,
same breath, it's like a juggling act. Because
yeah,
I guess you make up for your partner's weaknesses yourself.
yeah,
Like for me, going and talking to a random stranger or picking something up from fucking Facebook Marketplace,
yeah.
fuck that. That's a girlfriend job. I'm not doing that. And like she's really good at that stuff. She has her strengths, I have my strengths. She's very much more like academic. I'm much more sort of the earth, sort of
You art and
can
crafts.
do.
You're fixing the house with the fucking windows.
Yeah, but this is the thing as well, as I work in IT as well. So we have a little. I think a relationship is like a little boiling cooking pot, isn't it? It's like a little boiling
Yeah,
pot, and you have all of these ingredients in there, and you throw a load in, and those are the two people. Is it going to work? Maybe. Is it going to taste like shit? Maybe. You know, you have to just keep experimenting and
and
meeting
you
different
feel
people.
the previous relationship didn't work because it didn't feel like it was a contribution, like you're working together. It felt like she was working against you in a
Yeah,
way.
I don't want to talk bad because everyone
Okay,
has
there's no
their
need. No, no, no. We're just
difficult.
talking
No,
in
no, no.
general.
Everyone has their
Just
difficulties in life.
yeah.
But I think there are just occasions where you can enter a relationship where you're at a stage of weakness. And back then, I was
Uh-huh.
suffering a lot with mental health problems. And I
Was it
think
because of
there's
Hamilton driving you completely
yeah,
insane?
probably. No, but I think there's people in life that ultimately just care for you, want to be around you, and they like who you are, blah, blah, blah. All the things we've said for the last hour, right? But there are certain people in life whose mindset is maybe, I know we throw it around a lot more narcissistic, and they're like, what can I get from this? And the last relationship I had, I wasn't in a very good place. I was weakened, at the risk of sounding cliche, and she went in for the kill.
Oh, she
I was
jabbed
quite
the
literally,
knife.
yeah.
How did she?
I yeah.
What was the thing? What was the
Well,
knife? What was the smoking gun? Can you tell us?
I was convinced to buy a house by her mum, like completely taking me away from my family.
Uh-huh.
I got to the point her and my mum didn't like each other at all, and I was ripped away from my family at all. I mean, it's my own fault. I should have not fucking gone along with it. So there was periods of 6 months, maybe a year, where I didn't even speak to my mum, and like
Whoa.
thinking about that now, it just wouldn't happen. So yeah, it ripped me away from my family, caught me at a moment of weakness, and took me for a ride. We eventually split up. Obviously, the house I purchased, and she was just living with me. And then she was trying to get solicitors involved about, she's added loads of value to the property. She put some lino down in the bathroom one time, like, fuck off. And then she was sending me invoices and bills for solicitors and stuff, trying to get loads of money out of me. Like, with my contributions to the property, I'm entitled to this much. So yeah, that took me through a ringer as well. But yeah, she was in it for the cash money, big time. But I didn't know that until it all transpired at the end. That's when she really tried to take me. But yeah, it's interesting. Some people in life will genuinely.
Did she plan certain things out to kind of
We would
make it
just,
like it's your fault?
yeah. That boiling pot we were thrown in there, and it tastes like arse.
Yeah.
Microwaved. It was horrible.
You were
It was,
cooked. She
yeah.
cooked
It
you.
was literally. There was times where we'd just be having a normal conversation. I'd say
Yeah.
something she didn't quite agree with, and it just hung up the phone, and then just wouldn't answer the phone. And it's just like, back then, I thought at one point it was normal, but
What did I
Jesus Christ,
do? Like
I look back on
you
it
can't
now.
win. You can't
Yeah, with
win.
my partner currently,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of hobbies. I spend quite a few pounds on my hobbies I shouldn't do,
Mm.
but literally, I'll come home and go, "Oh, got this today." And this is like a couple of £100 we're talking about every time.
Mhm.
She's like, "Oh, cool," and then that's it. Like, before it'd been, "Oh, why are you spending that money?" It's like, wait a minute, bitch.
Wow.
Our accounts aren't even shared. What are you talking about? I can spend what I want. But yeah, when I did the live streams and stuff, that was a problem.
So it
Like when I was
wasn't
doing
you
the voice
see
channel
so maybe like you were going through really hard time, doing
outside of
videos.
YouTube as well.
They
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah,
they were
yeah,
fucking
big time.
pressuring you. Remember they were
Yeah,
cooking you, man, on the
yeah.
streams.
I was being mentally abused
Dude.
everywhere.
They were kicking your ass. I'll
Yeah,
kill you.
everyone
I'll
was.
come to London.
Yeah, it's yeah. I've got her doing all of this. I've got, oh god, yeah.
And then you got actual problems like in real life, and then maybe this is why they did it. Like they saw that you were in like this weakened state. You're going through because they also use that against you, right? They use your girlfriend's
Well, this is the
picture
thing,
on.
and this is why now, like we speak about children being miserable, is they
Mm,
look at people's lives outwardly and go, "Oh, yeah, this looks amazing." So if you looked at it from an outsider's perspective, I mean, she was on the channel at one point,
yes.
like David's got, all these thousands of pounds in watches, he's got his own
Yeah,
YouTube
you were
channel,
living the
people love him.
life.
He's got a blonde bombshell girlfriend with big, fake,
Fuck
voluptuous
yeah,
titties, and
you
it's
had
like
everything.
there was that. I was fucking miserable. So
Oh,
it's like the people nowadays, they see these snippets of awesome, circumstances in people's life, and they go, "Oh, my life's shit." It's like, well, actually, no, their life's probably shit as well. But that snippet, that moment in time, looks awesome. So it's very, yeah.
life is not what
It's
it seems. There's
no,
so much
definitely
smoke and
not.
mirrors in this world.
Definitely,
Yeah.
100%. Apart from you, Tim, your life's probably quite awesome, I'd imagine.
No, it's. I mean, listen, I'm
He gets
happy.
his
The more
dinner stolen.
it's not like a movie star lifestyle, but you know what? I'm happy. I get to do this show every day, talk watches, have some amazing conversation. Right? The most important thing for me is not to be restricted with what I can or cannot talk about. And this is something a lot of people just try to fuck with me. It's like, yo, you can't talk, you can't ask what a poppy is. Get the fuck out of here.
I didn't know what a poppy was. My dad was in the World War II, for Christ's sake. I didn't know what one was.
Why can't you ask?
Because
what a pop is?
they I guess it was I didn't realize that it was such an icon in the in Great Britain, for a poppy during World War II.
Why is it a problem that
Oh,
I
I
wouldn't
don't know.
expect?
Well, basically, there were some issue. There were some issues because we didn't know what a poppy was. So one person even told Timmy that he was anti. What did they tell him? He was anti. He's anti. I don't know. Wait until Timmy comes back. That's all I can
Are you
say.
talking about? Are you talking about the
I mean,
what the British wear for the? It's a remembrance thing, right? For the war
exactly,
veterans.
exactly. What did they? Who called you an anti veteran?
Oh,
Who
it's
called
Teen
you?
Tickers.
Yeah, he called him an anti-veteran.
I don't get that. I wouldn't expect Americans to know about the poppy.
I
Like,
know, right?
I had the
this
slightest
is the
idea.
thing.
It was a
I
low
always
blow.
I always find it quite strange, like how not to generalize, but I see like I don't give a shit about our royal family. I couldn't care less. It's like someone once upon a time like,
How dare you?
had more money and decided they were more important than everyone else, and then the family bloodline just continued after that. So I don't believe in it at all. I think it should be abolished. But anyway,
You know,
regardless of my
the way they're keeping it going is by convincing people that it's a big part of tourism industry.
Yeah, but that's great. That's great. So tourists come in, they spend money, and the government make tax. I still get bent over a barrel and rogered every day, so it makes no difference to me,
I
right?
know, right? That's
Um,
why you should
so,
end it.
but this is the thing. Yeah, it should be ended. I always find it really strange when other countries are obsessed with the British royal family. It's like I live here, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't understand. I think it's one of the last monarchies in the world, isn't it, or something? I think maybe that's why.
In America,
Uh,
we thought to
Well, the other thing
admire
is like an Episcopal.
England.
They represent, uh, Henry VIII, and basically in the sense that
mm,
when he broke off from the Catholic Church, so they're big in the whole Episcopal deal.
yeah, but this is the
They're part of
thing.
the fabric. So that would never even leave because of that reason alone.
Mm. Well, with the royal family, the king, and they technically have the power to overthrow, or they did anyway. I don't know if it still applies. That they have the power to overthrow decisions made in Parliament. And our country's been fucked for like the last 14 years, and he's not stepped in once. So it's like a useless entity, in my opinion. It's just like where the tax pounds goes, and he's got a fancy palace in London. Like, who
You know,
cares?
it's funny you mentioned taxes. That was our issue with them.
Yeah.
What's
That's why
that?
we had the whole Americans. That's why we had the big argument with the royals, is because
Boston
of
Tea Party.
taxes. Yeah, we're really upset about that, and then all of a sudden we have a new country.
I don't know
What
if
we
you know
had,
this.
1776.
Americans really don't like the taxes. I don't know if you know this, Django.
I don't think anyone does, really, do they?
Uh,
Well, that's what funded the United
It
States, right?
eventually goes to waste. That's the problem with taxes. Eventually, it gets corrupted.
you know what I find fascinating about taxes is whenever I think of taxes, like if everyone actually pays their taxes, then it's almost like nobody's paying for tax. It's almost like nobody's paying taxes. It's like you just get free stuff and nobody pays, because if everybody pays their fair share, then nobody's paying, because it levels out the playing field. You know, like think about it this way: if we both have $100, right, we can go then and we make something, right? We're gonna calculate our spending based on what we own, and we're gonna charge for something as much as we can get, right? And if we both have $100, if I make something, the maximum I can ask for it is $100, right? Because otherwise I'm not gonna sell it. Guess what? If you make if somebody makes $100 and I say I want 125 for this, I'm not gonna fucking sell it, right? So you have to make things that you could charge for what people make. So, and if you think about it, just like mathematically speaking, if everyone pays their fair share of taxes, then what happens is that it's like nobody's paying for it, because we adjust the price of the cost and we always do this. Even if there was no taxes, we would just charge more, because we would know, hey, this person has $100 in their pocket, I can charge them $100. But if I pay taxes and you pay taxes, I know, oh shit, he only has 80 because we just paid $20 in taxes each. so I can only charge them 80 for that. So, and it just feels like comparatively, it just kind of all
It's
works out.
interesting in the UK. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. Probably not. You shouldn't really care about politics. Is that we have a thing now where we've obviously always paid him. What am I trying to say? What's the word? It's getting late. Income tax. Sorry,
Income tax.
yeah, it's getting late. I'm getting tired. We pay income tax, and then I pay tax on anything that I purchase, 20%. And now what they're trying to do is, it's always been in the way, like sellers, like on eBay, whatever, Vinted, whatever platforms there are now. If you just do that, you have to pay tax on that because that's your income, right? But what they're trying to do now is make ordinary people, when you make a certain amount of profit, like over £1,000, or I can't remember what the metrics are now, you have to then start paying tax. Like they'll send your information to HM Revenue and Customs. So if I sell like my iPad and my phone and I make 1,500 quid, my details will get sent off and then they question it. So, well, fuck you. Wait a minute. I paid income tax. I then went to the Apple store, bought these devices, paid tax on both, and now I'm selling them, and you want tax on me selling it as well. Like, how many times do you need fucking tax on one thing? It's mental.
Brother, if you look at an American tax form, the IRS asks you if you have made income from illegal activities so that you can be taxed on
it. Because everyone's going to just fucking tick yes. Yeah, I've sold crack cocaine.
You have to declare anything. You have to declare anything over $600.
So if you say yes, I've sold, crystal meth. They then go, right, okay,
so
thank you, sir. You owe us this much, and then there's just police at the door waiting.
So let's say I sell you this watch, I have to tell the IRS, hey, oh, by the way, I sold this guy this watch, and this is your cut. The government is a pimp, man.
Fuck off, seriously.
Yeah, it used to be. It used to be under $10,000. You didn't have to declare it. And then when COVID happened, they were like, "No, we need our fucking money, man."
But this is the thing now, because they're now trying to go cashless in the UK. That's the biggest thing. Because now what I will do is I will, I bought a new iPad today out of because I'm upgrading anyway, and then I'll buy a new phone in September. But what I do now is I list them on Facebook Marketplace and I do cash on collection. But they're trying to stamp that out because that's the way around it, right? But then all I will do then is, and you've got PayPal, friends and family payment. Like, pick it up, friends and family, me. All good.
Yeah, but people don't talk about it anymore. But the United States rolled out the digital dollar last year.
What is that?
Crypto.
Oh,
no. But from the government. To eventually replace cash and the US dollar.
That's because they can control it.
Right. One day Retro makes a great point that 2% T-tax doesn't seem so bad anymore. I 100% agree. One day Retro understands me. That's why we fought a war over taxation without representation, and now we're taxing ourselves. If the founding fathers could see what we've done, Lord have mercy, unbelievable.
The thing is, it's also
the income tax was supposed to be temporary, and it was only supposed to be for the richest 10% of Americans.
It's not just that we're getting taxed. It's also that you're not getting a lot of value on the other end,
because we're not being represented. We're too busy sending money overseas. That's why people are upset, and people talk about America first, because we get taxed out the wazoo, trying to be polite here, and then people look around and say, well, my life hasn't improved in any way, shape, or form. Healthcare is still unaffordable, debt is still piling up, the roads still have holes in them. I'm paying all this money for what? I'm probably not even going to get to take advantage of Medicare and Medicaid if it's still around by the time we get to it. Because it was a good program. It was a really good program. The one thing that the government did that wasn't messed up. And then what happened? Once the war on terror happened and we started running into serious debt, the government started taking money out of that.
Yeah, I feel like in a second we're gonna have like Paul Thorpe join the stream.
Just a quick point here. Even if Medicare was expanded to all doesn't mean that it would be great, because look, in UK there's NHS, and that's literally like what Medicare for all would
But
be
this is the
if it
problem.
was, and then,
Yeah.
but then even NHS was destroyed, right?
Hey guys, I got to jump off. I'll
Yeah.
talk to you guys later. Hey,
See you later,
congratulations
Tim.
on your unboxing. It's awesome. That's an awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate.
Congrats.
Welcome back to the watch
Yeah,
community.
now
All right, Team G.
you're a community. Now you're
Hell
a real
yeah.
community. Now you're
See you,
like,
Tim.
Part of the Hell's Angels.
I better go in a minute because it's now 1 a.m. But
hey,
yeah, I think
hey, outstanding watch too. If you want your one and done, or you can flash that in front of people's faces. You can do everything with that.
It's the greatest Rolex ever made, and the 39 mil. The 36 is slightly too small, and the 40 is great,
So
but the
basically,
39.
the two panelists on here, not you, Timmy, have the two best watches. Tutor, that
Hell
Tutor
yeah.
watch is the best watch, and in my opinion, that
Did
Rolex.
somebody say Tutor?
Yeah, and that Rolex is the best Rolex, in my opinion.
Boom.
Okay,
Let's see it.
so
To the gang, to the gang, to the gang.
To the gang,
all right.
baby.
Anyway, take care, guys.
If you own
Pleasure
a
talking to
Tutor,
you.
type 1 in the chat. Everybody who owns a Tutor, type 1 in the chat. Go into the chat section below the live stream. Type 1
think
if you're a Tutor owner and proud.
it's an interesting point you make about the overseas thing, because that's a pointed discussion here, and I think that's a lot of the points that I know we talk about Paul Thorpe's videos on politics and stuff, and with Tommy Robinson, all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
They are trying to make a point, however they're making it very poorly. So I think the general consensus, like the NHS, is, like you say, Tim, completely fucked. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Certain areas are worse than most. But then we have like our last prime minister, because we've now got a new one as of the 4th or the 5th, sorry. And to say, oh yeah, look, there's just no money, blah blah blah, whatever. Oh, by the way, next week we've sent 300 million to Ukraine. It's like,
Thank you.
do you know what I mean? It's a
As a
great
Ukrainian,
cause.
I thank
I
you.
know, yeah, I know you were raised there, Tim.
Well, but the
it's like,
problem, it's if there's no Ukraine, you guys are gonna be. It's gonna
Yeah,
get worse.
but
If
this is
Ukraine
the
is
thing.
erased,
Yeah.
trust me.
yeah,
When that war comes on your footsteps, let us
This
fight
is
it.
the thing,
Ukrainian
right?
people are actually built for it.
Yeah, it's like we send hundreds of millions a year to like India, and they've got a fucking space program. It's like, what? Wait a
Dude.
minute. But then the thing is that, and I think a lot of the time, people such like on the, would we say the right wing, like Paul and
Paul
those sort of
Thorpe.
people?
Well,
yeah,
Paul Thorpe, it's a far right. It's not even
yeah,
right.
but
It's
they're
like
trying to.
far right.
Yeah, I understand the point they're trying to make. Like, with the NHS, we have tax and national insurance. It's my understanding that national insurance goes to NHS area. That's my understanding. I might be wrong. I just pay it, and I've never really delved too much into it because I can't change that. But we pay this money, and some of us are taxed very handsomely every month, depending on how much you earn. I think once you're over like 50,000 a year, you pay like a 40% tax on anything over that 50 grand. So
Jesus.
if you earn
expensive.
70 grand, for example, that 20,000 is taxed at 40%. So that's a hefty sum.
But
so then
for
when
that, you're supposed to get top of the line
exactly.
healthcare.
So
It's not
you're funding the NHS, and you then try and call the doctor, and they're like, oh, we've got an appointment in 6 weeks' time. People are
you might die by
arguably
then. 6 weeks.
But then the thing is, if you then tie that, because that's like a infrastructure problem, right? There's not enough appointments. There's maybe too many people.
There's not enough doctors. There's not enough nurses.
Yeah,
There's not
exactly.
enough hospitals.
But
There's not
then
enough beds.
that's when we roll perfectly for that far right to go stop the boats, because they're like, there's too many people coming into the country.
You know what we have in common, Django? The UK and the United States.
That doesn't really. It's not really the answer. You see how it's not really. People on the boats didn't block the chairs.
Yeah,
but it's so easy. It's so easy.
It's so easy. Those two things.
It's right there. It's right there.
When
you know what?
The argument.
It's so actually it's so easy, Django, that people who actually want to reform NHS should just lie and just say it's the immigrants' fault, and then just do what they need to do with the NHS. I mean,
This
fuck me
is
dead.
the problem is when you say I can't get an appointment for my doctor for 6 weeks, and there's loads of people coming over on boats, then those two things just they merge and they support an agenda. It's
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Hey,
You know
speaking
what
of,
we have in common, the UK and the United States?
Oh God, I love
We, we,
McDonald's.
we-
Oh
we're both being mismanaged by a bunch of thieves.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
there is that. Yeah, that's very true.
no, just leave it there. Private gentleman, welcome to the show. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Good evening, sir.
Hey,
Ciao, come va?
just leave there.
Bene, bene, too.
Bene.
È così bello averti qui, amico mio.
Grazie.
Grazie.
Un piacere. It's a pleasure.
Piacere io.
Private gentleman, speaking of relationships, we had Michaela de Chatillon earlier on the
Yeah,
stream. We were talking a
and
little bit
how
about
lucky
relationships. I know you've been
you
married
were.
for. Can you tell us just
35
quickly about
years.
your relationship status over the years?
Yeah, I've been married for 35 years.
To one woman?
To one woman, yeah. I've not kissed, cuddled, touched another woman in 35 years.
It's incredible. How did you meet?
Well, I'm ugly as sin, but I mean, girls stick round me like honey round a jam jar. I don't know why. I don't need to try that hard. I normally try the astrology angle, which I'm very good at, and of course, and numerology, and so I can virtually read them straight away, and they go,
Wow.
"Oh, you know me," like that. How did we meet? Yeah, I met my wife. She was. She knew a friend of mine very briefly. He was a pretty bad guy, and
Uh-huh.
I used to meet her every 6 months for a cup of tea, and just ask her how we just used to bump
Did you pay
into
for
each
the
other.
tea?
Sorry,
Did you pay for the tea?
where I lived in my hometown, I never paid for anything.
Oh, she paid for the tea.
No, she didn't pay either.
Oh, well, did you make the tea? Was it at your place?
No, I could go anywhere in my hometown. I never paid for anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was one of those people that had a business, and
Very nice.
it was where people wanted to be involved with me. So clothes and shoes and Mr. Byright and Burton's and clothes shops and that. It was, here's a carrier bag. Go and help yourself, And
How old were
A
you?
man of influence and importance and gravitas.
Yeah.
gravitas. That's
Absolutely.
right. Yeah.
How old
So
were you when
anyway,
you? Uh-huh.
well, I was moonlighting. I was in the military, but I ran a business on the side as well on the QT. So
What?
anyway, let's. You want to know how I met her? Yeah. So I was bumping into her every 6 months for a cup of tea, and one day I was walking up a big posh street in my hometown, a lot of rich houses, and a car went by, and she picked me up in the car. She said, "Are you walking into the town?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Look, I've had enough of this." I said, "We keep bumping into each other every 6 months. You keep talking to me about your boyfriends that you're not doing very well with." I said, "I'm taking you out tonight. I've had enough." And so I took her to a posh Italian restaurant. I bought her a lasagna and a glass of wine. And I said to her that night, I said, "Look, you're the one." And that's the end of it. And I think she got the
Wow.
message. And then the next night I took her out and I said, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. And I
Sometimes
said,
a guy just needs to take a charge. Just needs to take
Yeah.
charge, right? That's it. It's just
I mean,
sometimes it's what you have to do. You got to do what you got to do.
I'm like Kleiner. I'm the typical hot Italian guy. And I had a bachelor's pad with the electric windows and the whole 9 yards and the G-plan flooring and the whole thing. And I didn't really want to get married. Out of all my mates down the gym, I was the last one, and they were all even the girls. As I told you, I'm no
How
Robert
did you know
Red.
she was the one? What? Obviously
You
you picked
can
the
tell.
right. It was the
You
right
can tell.
choice.
When you find the right girl, you can sit by the riverside or on a park bench. You can both stare at a tree. You don't need to be talking. Your mind's, it's the compatibility of the subconsciouses.
Whoa,
All right.
compatibility of the
All right.
subconsciousness.
You don't need to talk because you're talking in your heads to each other. You just
Sounds like this
know.
is what Django is having with
I
his
mean, me
roommate.
trying to explain this to an Aquarian is very difficult to me.
Mm.
So it's a compatibility of the
Well,
subconsciouses. You don't need
I
to
know
say anything.
exactly what you mean because I have the exact opposite. We have the counter compatibility, but I get it. I get it. Sometimes when
No, I've
you're
done a
perfectly
synastry.
compatible.
I've done a synastry chart on you and the roommate, and you are perfect for each other.
Or maybe it is. Maybe we are compatible because we are so opposite. It's
100%.
like,
Yeah,
right,
yeah. You could,
for the
you,
Lego blocks to fit together, they have to be
yeah.
opposite. And
No, what
opposite
you,
poles
yeah,
attract, right?
yeah,
We're nothing but atoms, right? We're just big fat atoms, and we have poles of attraction and the pole, and we have our we have our negative charge, we have our positive charge, and
yeah.
when we meet another atom or another molecule, well, we're kind of like molecules, right? Because we need certain parts to match to be able to combine, right? Not all uh, atoms or all molecules are compatible with other molecules. Sometimes, it's just too many valence electrons, or sometimes, the charge is very oppressive, and it needs to be a perfect combination, right?
I mean, synastry works in a different way. I mean, you're talking to a 64-year-old that's been
Hmm.
there, done it, got the T-shirt. I've had
Now
my heart broken.
you
But
said
let me tell you,
numerology helped you.
yeah, numerology, astrology, and Chinese astrology. I mixed all three of them together,
Uh-huh.
and I get a very good compatibility
And did you get
rating.
your wife's
Yeah,
chart
yeah.
before you were talking to her?
I calculated it down to a T, and I told her 100%. I said, "You're going to be with me now," and that's the end of it. And
Okay.
life was tough to start off with, but I knew how it worked, and I've had other
Okay.
girls come up to me and say to me, "Can I have help with my partner?" And I've said, "Look, yeah, I'll help you, no problem at all, free of charge."
Django, this is what I need. I need a birth date, your birth date of your roommate, and
The last four digits of their social security number.
the last
Uh,
four digits.
No,
let
no,
me
no,
stop
no,
you
no,
there.
no, no,
I
I'm
want to
not.
see it.
no, no,
I
no,
want
no, no,
private
no, no. I
gentleman.
don't
No,
want.
just send it to me in private, and he's gonna run the numbers, and we're gonna check if it's compatible. What
I
do you
can do that
think?
for you, no problem.
And we'll offer these services for any relationship out there, guys. If you are in a relationship and something is what's up, but you don't know if you're truly compatible, send
Look,
me your what information do people need to send?
I just need a date of birth for both of you, but let me just explain it to you
Okay.
like this. Your life, all your lives are a roadmap. The synastry calculations on any esoteric study is a roadmap. It's a sat nav. It's entirely up to you whether you want to follow that sat nav or push the button on the machine, turn off, and go a different route. But it's all there in front of you. Success, everything is laid out in the path. Um, uh, Robbie Williams, anybody know him, the big singer?
Robbie
Oh,
All
Williams.
right,
right.
we have what's in Millennium in that song he sings. We have stars deciding our fate. Okay, if you
Hmm.
don't, he consults the esoterics. So let me tell you that if you don't want to follow the path, it's entirely up to you. And when they come crying to me afterwards and they go, "Oh fuck me, I didn't do that," so I didn't mean to swear, but I just said, "Look, you turn the sat nav off, mate." You know, and all the people that had a ton of money 35 years ago that were all racing around in the big trucks and coming down the gyms with huge, great sacks of money in the bags and that, we all finish. Let me tell you, we all finish at the same finishing line. It's the story of the hare and the tortoise. When you get to my age, you will be no different than the other guy down the road. You may even have a bigger house than him. All right.
Dang.
And I've discussed this with you a number of times on the phone, Timmy, when we spoke to each other.
Yeah, that's
You
why
know,
I want to start offering this service as just like a
we
part
we
of
can do it as a
Tim Wright
we can
live
do it
stream.
as a bit of harmless fun, but I
Oh,
don't want
actually, you know what? The
social
Kleiner
security
Hunt,
numbers.
Kleiner,
Yeah,
Klein. I don't know if it's. Feel free to tell me to fuck off. I'll just ask. Listen, can you give me in private your birthday and the birthday of your previous ex partner, and we'll have a private gentleman run the numbers, and maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll glean some insights.
you don't even have to
What do you
give me
think?
the girlfriend's number. You can give me your birthday. I can tell you exactly what type of person you are
Well, I will.
within
Well,
I mean,
10 minutes.
I hate to be a party pooper, but I object.
okay, that's fine. It's
Yeah.
all
It's
cool.
not for privacy reasons. It's um how do I say this? I kind of delve into religion
Uh huh.
re-
It's
in
not
the
it's not
last
religion.
several. No, no, I understand what I'm saying is
It's
my religion objects to this kind of things, so I
yeah,
try
yeah,
not to
yeah.
participate in
Eh,
these kind of
yeah.
things.
It's funny because I was a Roman Catholic for 60 years, and until they stole a lot of money off my mother, and because she was a typical South Italian, who was easily led. And I spoke to a priest about 6 months ago, and he was an American guy. Actually, he's in my local town, and he said that his grandma, he's a Capricorn, and she used to instill him into some of the traits of astrology. And he said, the Vatican says, it's a big no, big poo poo. Yeah, sure. But they're the ones with the books in the Vatican archives, and they claim they own the chronovisor.
I'm
Ray,
not Catholic. I mean, God bless them, but I'm not. I'm not even Christian.
Oh, thank God for that then. Whatever
Thank
God that
God for
is.
atheists, so we'll be on
Yeah.
board.
Yeah, whatever God that is. Yeah, I agree with David's idea about not getting married. I mean, what an absolute fucking waste of money that was. That we had to cancel our wedding because it was running away with us, and it upset a lot of people. And that was back then in 1988, and that was costing us two and a half. We stopped at £2,500, and eventually I spent £5,000, which is a huge amount of money in today's cash. And I look back on it now and think what a pathetic load of obsequious fawning that was for the whole day. You know. So yeah,
Sir,
I don't blame anybody who
between
doesn't
what
have
I
one of these.
spent between what I spent on the wedding and supporting her and giving her half of the outfit that I had paid for,
Yeah,
I could have bought an RM by now. But at the same time, at the time it was worth it.
yeah,
And
yeah. Sure. I appreciate that.
even though it
It,
didn't, I hate to
it's
measure everything in financial terms because at the time it
yeah,
was worth it to me, and
yeah,
those are memories I will treasure forever, even though we're
yeah.
not together anymore.
I understand
yeah.
wholeheartedly, 100%. Io si chiamo Antonio, Inghilterra, capito?
Hmm.
Sometimes things are not meant to work forever. Sometimes relationships end, and that's okay. It just is what
Like
it
people
is.
say around here, it is what it is.
Yeah, you have to find enjoyment and lessons in the life you lived, and just keep
Yeah,
going forward. It's all cool.
Life is just a collection of experiences at the end of the day.
Hey, roommate. What? Okay.
Hello, roommate. I'm not smoking, I swear, I promise. I'm not smoking.
Nobody's smoking on the stream right now, by the way. No cigars. Okay.
but you can tell
No,
she loves you very much, and you're highly compatible with each other. So
you got it.
there's no big deal there.
Roommate, it's tough, guys. Ray Ray, to your super chat. Kleiner unboxing, please, sir. Anthony
It's the
was
same with
I
busy.
the
hate to disappoint Ray Ray, but I don't have anything to unbox. I don't even have a wrench.
it's the same with I watch the patterns on the fights amongst the YouTubers,
Hmm.
and I analyze the birthdays amongst them, and there's a heavy Taurus and Virgo. Um, incompatibility amongst the ones that are fighting with each other.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, so in fact, all the biggest battles going on amongst and confrontations are going on between Taurus and Virgo signs.
Taurus
You
versus
know,
Virgo.
I don't mean to be
you
rude
don't.
towards what you're saying, but this really reminds me of this internet meme. It's like this. It's like a girl driving a car and just like hitting all the curbs and the stop signs and other cars. Like, oh, I don't know what's happening today. I'm such an asparagus. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I think I understand that. Yeah, 100%. But you know, that's your opinion. You have to remember, at the end of the day, each and every one of you, you're unique. You are you. There'll never be another you.
Oh, thank God.
And there shouldn't be another you either. You're a unique soul and vibration to what you're doing and what you're contributing to this world and environment. So, and from there, that's the building blocks.
Boom. What a beautiful words to end the live stream on. Great show, everybody. Big shout out to Michaela de Chatillon.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
You got a problem?
Her.
You know where I am. You know, I'm your Jerry Springer 2023.
Jerry Springer 2023, baby. Guys, subscribe to her on Instagram for the latest updates. Sometime soon she's gonna go on the whatever episode part 2. We're here to support. It was cool to talk a little bit about relationships, because I think we get these watches, we spend so much money on them because we want to have a little bit more investment in them than just a tool that tells a watch. It's a relationship, very much just like a relationship you can have with someone, like with a person, in a way. And not that it should end there, but that's how I feel. And we'll talk about this more in the future. Big shout out to Django. Welcome back to the watch community. Let's see that Explorer one more time.
I've got it on.
Oh, yes, please.
I've taken it off already. There it is.
Fuck yeah, there it is, baby.
Woo! Oh, yeah.
39 mil. It's
Nice.
censored. And let's see the Tutor.
Somebody say Tutor.
Hell yeah, Tutor crew, let's go. All right, guys, hit the upvote button. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm wearing the Explorer 2. Gotta love it. And yeah, upvote, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna keep this party going. Peace out.